I got it! Wow!
Introducing the G.I. Joe USS Flag aircraft carrier.
Sky Striker landing!
It's big, tough, and built to carry all the planes, men, and equipment Joe needs to go into battle against Cobra.
Cobra jet!
Some assembly required.
Feel the jet! Man on battle station! Where's the Admiral? He's at the wheel! Black aircraft! Fire! We start Cobra! Yeah!
G.I. Joe USS Flag aircraft carrier comes with what you see here. Other figures and equipment sold separately from Hasbro.
Welcome to Beyond Wednesday, the nearing Nirvana takeover of the channel. So
taking over another show. That's what it feels like.
Right. You may be surprised that we're starting on time. And then we have another guest joining us, James from Hive Comics, and then I have Laura from Bird City Comics.
Hi.
And you're Nirvana.
Yeah.
So how's everyone's Wednesday going?
James, why don't you lead that off? I have to think about my answer for a second.
It's going pretty good. Had a good Memorial weekend.
Yeah.
So
I forgot to send you that info earlier. What we were chatting about. I'm just getting stuff ready for Dallas Fan Expo. I'm really excited about that. That's June 7th through. Or no, wait. Is it June 9th through the 11th?
Yeah, the
something like that.
Retail Expo starts on the 7th.
Yeah, I was thinking of the retailer summit that's happening that weekend. I think that's going to be really interesting, especially since like a lot of major publishers are leaving. They're leaving Diamond.
Yeah.
So is this going to be like one of the last retailer summits that there is?
I mean, maybe does it become worth it to them at that point? I mean, it's still outreach for LCSs, so maybe it's a last ditch thing to try and keep them around. But
oh yeah, I mean, because I know when I went last year, they were talking a lot more about anime and manga than comic books, even though like everyone that was presenting at the convention or at the summit were comic sellers.
Yeah,
like because the keynote speaker was Frank Miller.
Yeah, I mean, did they have any? I don't know if they did, but I don't recall them having anybody from like Viz at the retail summit last year.
They had someone from Shonen Jump.
Oh, okay.
But they do something weird now. They don't actually publish the books that they used to. It's all digital now. And so they don't actually print anything. And then
I don't like that. I don't like everything going digital.
No.
Yeah. I mean,
it loses its collectability at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just trying to appeal to the younger generation that's on all digital anyways, where they have to have an iPad in front of them or they have to have a phone in front of them. Screen time at all times, right?
Screen time at all time, yeah.
Well, it's on us to save paper then, because my kids will only buy physical comics. My kids don't read stuff online. It's physical books, physical comics. They want to own it. They take pride when they finish it and can put it on their shelves or in a box.
Yeah. I think that's always been one of those things, right? That you can only display books that you finish reading.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, right? What's the point of having all those books?
Can you guys hear all that in the background?
A little bit. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
They sound cute, though. They sound happy. We have a Phoenix Fan Fusion coming up this weekend, too.
Oh, you have that coming up this weekend?
Yeah, that's this weekend. So Anthony and I, well, not Anthony and me, but just him. He's going to be manning the booth while I man the business. So he'll be there. And that's another really manga-focused con, or it has been the last few years.
Well, I always felt like that there was like somewhat of a crossover between both fandoms. Like I'll watch anime every so often, but I'm not like huge into it like Heartless or anything like that. But they've always showed up to comic conventions in their cosplay. I completely skipped out Houston's Comic Palooza this past weekend. Like I didn't go at all. Like so here's the thing, like they're not comic focused at all. And it's all just about like seeing celebrities. Like they had 3 comic guests for the entire convention.
Dollar came and dollar went.
Yeah.
He was here and then bailed.
That's how FanX in Salt Lake was, or still is. It's you get a couple of retailers in there. There's a couple of really good artists in Utah that don't even go to it, and then they get just enough headliner type comic people like Kevin Eastman and stuff to like make comic people go. But it's mostly celebrities and stuff like that people go to see, and voice actors. Like Disney voice actors kill at FanX because it's Utah.
Yeah,
but as far as a comic convention, it's not. It shouldn't be called one. It's we always just call it a pop culture con. It's a pop culture con. It's not a comic con.
So, and then I also thought, I was like, why would I spend as much money as I bought for a 3-day pass at Dallas Fan Expo for 1 day at a comic convention in Houston?
Yeah.
When I know I'm probably not even going to spend that much money on comics itself there. So like $50 to $70 for like 1 day, like that doesn't sound like appealing.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people flowing in. Yeah. So we didn't do our typical music intro. We had Dollar here for just a split second.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a deep dive once he gets back into all 300 Spider-Verse characters that are appearing. Actually, I have no idea. But Dollar's going to be joining us talking about some Spider-Verse spec. So,
ooh, Andy's in the chat. What up, Andy?
Yeah, and I saw Newbie earlier.
Nice.
There's a lot of regulars in here. So, yeah, this is the
there's nothing regular about Comic Man Andy.
Yeah.
He makes me laugh. He makes me smile every time I see him. He tells a funny joke.
I just love all the
people.
Yeah, I just love all his facial expressions that he makes, like when he's excited, like
when he gets a 9-9, for example.
Yeah. But it was funny. We were joking around in the group chat we're in. I was like, yeah, you graded a bunch of poo books. If you don't hit a 9, 9, or 10, you can just throw them in the trash. No. And then he pulled out 2 9-9s. I thought that was really funny.
Oh, there you go.
Brad Selden in the chat. What's up? But I guess we could also, until Dollar gets here, we can also answer questions that anyone has in the community as well.
Oh God! Answer anything you guys want. Do we have to answer?
Well, this is not an AMA. So.
It's truth or dare. Truth or dare.
Right. Let's see what we got. We have Brooklyn in the chat. I don't think he'll be gentle. He'll probably ask some crazy shit. I like that though. A Q&A, community Q&A.
Yeah. Well, especially since we have two online retailers with us. Like,
can I start, E? Can I ask a question to you?
Sure.
Do you own the Ghost Spider behind you, or is that a print, or is that the actual comic?
So that's the print. The comic is like in this room.
You have one though?
I have one.
Question number 2. Will you sell it to me?
No.
Damn it.
Not at all. Like, I had to trade so much to get it. Like, so Blue Green Artifacts, Tony, when we all met at Baltimore that year, he sent it home with me and was like, hey, we'll work out a trade. And then I was like so nervous, like just like taking it home with me without exactly knowing what I was trading to.
He's like, 1 kidney, please.
Yeah, because I knew what the value of the book was.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of like, but I mean, I knew I had enough stuff to cover it. It's just depending on what he wanted at the time. So, because I remember trading like 4 9/8 for it, maybe 5 books.
Okay, Lord Chapman, but someday that is going to be the golden age. If we stop collecting the modern books, we kill the hobby altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say that too, because I did trade a Something Is Killing the Children #1 for a Batman 181. So first poison Ivy. But I mean, I did have multiple copies of Something Is Killing the Children 1.
Laura, how many times did you fight a cosplayer at a con for looking at your husband? I mean, I've never gotten into it at a con. I've only gone to a couple, but I don't really get anybody hitting on Anthony in front of me. They probably do when I'm not around.
I only do it at shows you're not there.
Thank you.
I'm respectful.
You should have seen them at Baltimore, like when they first met. It was like the bromance like first starting.
Oh God, I know.
Laura was there for that.
I was there for the intro. I was there for the introduction because like it was funny because James because I sent James to y'all because I knew you all had some Spirit weeklies, and then he was looking for some, and then he's like, is is that Ant? I was like, yeah. He's like, I still owe him for an invoice. Like, hold off before you introduced me to him. And I was like,
yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. I still owe
money, shit.
yeah. And then he's like sitting there on his phone, sending it to him, and he's like, hey, I'm James, blah blah blah. and then we went on for drinking all night, and then I think that's when you called us, and we were standing in the middle of the street eating pizza.
Yeah. I remember Anthony just completely trashed that night. I was like, you're gonna be hurting tomorrow, buddy.
And then
rough night.
Yeah, all I remember is that he's like, yeah, I just remember waking up in my hotel room, and then like I had a whole pizza with me, and I was like, that sounds like a pretty good night. He's like, I have no idea how I got back. So I was like, that's half the fun, right?
Yeah, thanks for keeping an eye on him, Yee. He has no idea how he got home.
We threw him on an Uber, if I remember right. We threw a lot of people on Ubers that night.
Good.
I'm pretty sure
Aaron did. Aaron was like the most put together out of all of us.
Even though I was probably the most trashed out of all of y'all.
Probably, but
yeah.
Made you think clear.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was always the best fucked up driver, you know, even though like you shouldn't be driving on whatever. But yeah, that was always me.
Uber getter.
Yeah.
He's a marriage counselor. That's
a marriage counselor.
Where is Bryan tonight? They were
so
asking.
yeah. So Mike, Bryan is currently at the Bad Idea event that's happening in Arizona. I don't know any of the details of that event. I mean, I figured maybe one of the biggest Bad Idea fans knows what's going on.
At Samurai Comics, right?
I only heard about it today. Actually.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I probably would have flown out for it had I known about it a week ago.
I knew about it a week ago and forgot, and that's why I'm not there right now. Yeah. Completely forgot. I'm gonna be kicking myself about that because I talked to Bryan a while back, and say what you want about Bad Idea, but
their marketing is like off the chain.
Their marketing is effective.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to at least give them credit for that. Whether or not you agree with how they market, it doesn't change the fact that it did work.
It gets the conversation going, right? But like, whether it's a good or bad, like people are talking about it no matter what, and then it has it's a long-lasting effect.
Are they still developing new titles? Do we know if there's anything else coming out anytime soon?
There is. I think they're taking.
They had that Kickstarter,
don't quote
right?
me on that, but I think they're taking a hiatus for a month or two to get some new stuff going and out. But I do know that they've got 3 days left in their Kickstarter. I don't know. You could probably check it real quick. I think there's 3 days left in their Kickstarter. I think last time I checked, it was at like 300,000 for the hardcover for Megalith.
Yeah. So yeah. And
which I'm still as big of a Bad Idea fan as I am. I still have not paid into that. I'm still like, I've got a couple of days to decide. And it's not that I'm not going to, it's that there's some really good tiers that I'm like,
which tier do you sign up for?
Yeah. Do I want to splurge and like, do I really want to drop some money, or do I just want Megalith? So,
and Lord of Brooklyn, that's why Laura's not allowed at cons. So
I get in trouble. I get in trouble at cons. I just don't do well at them in general. I don't handle the crowds well. I can handle it for like a couple of hours, and it's just too much noise, and I end up hiding in the bathroom.
I take a lot of breaks because I'm the same way. I take a lot of breaks. I walk out like every 2 hours or so, and like I don't really smoke. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Occasionally I have a cigar, and I vape. But like even with that, like sometimes I'll just walk out. Like I know my places now. I've been to the shows enough times. Like I know where at New York, where I know where I can get peace and quiet around the convention center.
Were you at New York
last 2 years? Yeah.
We were in New York last year. Did you come out?
I was at the booth last year. I don't think you were there though. I think it was Ant and Nerdy Girl were hanging out at the booth.
I went one day. This is a perfect example. I went one day, and then the other days I went to the Met.
Oh yeah, you went. That's right. I remember because me and Ant talked about that.
There's so many people at New York City Comic Con though. So I mean, if crowds aren't your thing, like I can understand why that's overwhelming for someone.
It was rough. It was like shoulder to shoulder. It was like being in Disneyland. But Shortbox Live, the con that we went to, that was perfect. They had a limit on how many people they let in. There were tons of vendors, and it was really well organized. That's when I thought.
So what's on the agenda tonight? We're waiting for Richie to come back to the show so we can go on to our deep dive of all 300 Spider-Verse characters. That's the plan. So he got insider information of every single character that's going to be there.
From least important to most important.
Yep.
We covered the Spider-Verse, well, some of it on Near Nirvana last night.
I was watching the show, and I like that. I like that new game, First or Fire.
Yes, we're doing First or Fire, and then we're doing Key or Cover. So it's kind of like games that we're incorporating into the show to kind of make them more entertaining. And
then I can show you how to do polls. Not tonight because I don't have access to Bryan's account, but jump on Long Story Short one day, and I'll share a screen and show you how to do that.
Maybe tomorrow, Shakers. I'll see. Yeah.
But anyway. And then what was I going to say? Oh, so y'all are telling me backstage that y'all had a pretty big announcement that I guess you're doing more collaborations together.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, can we answer Three Rivers, and then we'll get to that?
All right.
He said, if each of you could pick one book that you feel is undervalued and a good buy or watch right now, what would it be? Mine would be Avengers 8. Keep an eye on it. Overcorrecting. A book right now that you feel is undervalued or would be a good buy. I have to think about it.
I personally can't tell you mine. Some people know what it is. Aaron immediately started laughing because he knows what it is. I think there's books out there that if you go through the history of comics, and I think there's books that are forgotten about from the time when comics weren't necessarily printed in comic format. Newspaper inserts, stuff like that, I think are important things that people just haven't attached the value that they deserve on them yet. So with me, there's a couple that I would say my top 10 list is all newspaper inserts. None of them are actually comics.
I'll jump on that a little bit though, but go with magazines. I think magazines lately, magazines would be my call too. If you can go back and find really cool magazines for decent prices right now.
Yeah, imagine what the first issue of Wired is going to do. I'm sure it's already up there, but imagine what it does in the next 20 or 30 years. You know, the first Popular Science, first Scientific America, magazines like that
are just kind of, I guess like thought of all the time. Or
they're part of cultural reference. They're things that were around our parents' houses and grandparents' houses, stuff like that. You talk nostalgia. There's some nostalgia there too. Look at what video game magazines have done.
I think it's really interesting about how both grading companies now are in gear to take on magazines, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not for one or the other right now. Like I think that market is still developing. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next year. Yeah. Like overall, like how collectible magazines are, especially like newsstands versus mail away ones, just like condition wise on that. Because I don't know which one's going to be easier to get a higher grade in, right? Because how many people have magazines where they were folded through the middle and then put in your mailbox, right? Mm-hmm. Or you're picking it off the newsstand and then it's just some kid that's throwing them on the shelves and then like bending it through like the racks and all that. I definitely agree with Lewis's comment that DC books are underrated. I thought of a villain book, but I don't like specking on villains unless it's Star Wars.
Yeah. I would say if we're talking strictly comics, I would say Hawkman 4 has been mine for the last 3 or 4 years. I still think even when that book has been peaking and it's seen year after year, it sees decent increases, especially in the higher grade books. Mm-hmm. That book is getting up there.
Hey, James, can you just end this real quick? I want to see your opinion. How is nobody talking about the cheapest option for the Bad Idea Kickstarter being $125? How is that not an obscene money grab?
I thought it was $60.
Look at that. That is crazy for the lowest tier to be $125. I don't think I've ever
Well, I mean, they had a Kickstarter where it was like to end Bad Idea as well too, and people
That one
paid
was
into
funny.
that, and people like it got a lot of money. Like I want to say 6 figures, right? I think the goal was to get 1 million, but I mean I could be wrong. So it was something crazy. I know like when we had Dinesh on the show, like we had talked about it.
Hey, Brad, thanks for stroking the like button. We appreciate that. If the rest of you could do the same, that'd be great. Stroke away. What was the other thing I was going to tell you? Sketchbooks, artist sketchbooks. That's another thing that I've been keeping an eye on. And I'm not telling you who specifically, but there's an artist that I'm snatching up every single sketchbook I can find.
Nice.
I think that's
conventions. Yeah, conventions are a good place to pick up those sketchbooks as well. Especially because like they're not always heavily publicized. But
they're incredibly limited for the most part, or at least the one that I was trying to find is limited to 250. So
which one?
I'm not telling you.
No, what was the sketchbooks? Is that what you guys said?
Oh yeah, sketchbooks. It's not Art Adams, and it's not Jenny Frison, although Jenny Frison is one of my favorites.
I do like picking up the Jenny Frison book that she does every year, where it's like a
I think I have one behind me. Hold on.
See, I have one somewhere, but I'm not gonna stand up right now to go find it.
I'm not either because I'm like wearing booty shorts and that would be fun. I'm gonna stay sitting.
We want to keep this channel monetized. No, he doesn't care about that.
Bryan will be like, "What did you guys do to my channel while I was gone?" So did you find out, James? Is it 125 is the minimum tier?
So it's 125 for the hardcover. There is tiers that are lower that are like
digital only,
a pre thing for Megalith.
Okay.
But it's like it's going to be a comic, or 2 comics, not the hardcover. The hardcover,
not the full.
Megalith, 125. Yeah. So he wasn't wrong.
They've offered $5 starts. Bryan wears booty shorts too. He does that and squirt t-shirts, ironically.
Yeah, it's a fact. Yeah.
I still haven't tried a squirt yet.
I've had one a long time ago, but I don't really remember what it tasted like. So going back to what you were saying, Yi, James, do you want to announce like what we're doing?
Yeah. So anyways, we've been told for I'm just going to stroke our egos for a bit, but we've been told for a long time that there's a lot of our friends that are in this community have told us there's only a few retailers that they trust and a few retailers that buy from. Mel has said it before. You guys have all said it before. That it's us and it's like Drew, right? Wanted Comics. We've realized over the last couple of years and just dealing with Aunt Laura and them dealing with Jonathan and I that like our views on the industry are the same or similar. The type of artists we like to go after for covers is similar. A lot of times it's outside the box of normal thinking, but we bring a lot of attention to artists that maybe just would have gotten overlooked.
Yeah.
Because we look a little deeper into it. Our choices on titles, I feel like sometimes we dig maybe a little bit deeper into it. We just do good books, and because we're so aligned, we've decided that you guys are going to be seeing a lot of projects here in the near future that are going to be Bird City and Hive Comics shared books under the what is it?
The Birds and the Bees.
Birds and the Bees. So
that's a good collaboration name.
Birds and Bees collaborative exclusives coming out here. Our first one drops this Friday, even. So,
ooh, yeah, and I am about to share the art for that, and I'll really love this cover. All right, I'll go ahead and just show it instead of just keep on talking about it.
Yeah, might as well.
There she is.
So this was the Justine Franny. This was the 1:50 ratio variant for issue 2. Image sent out a email to retailers that had done variants on World Tree, and I think maybe even retailers that hadn't, and basically had 4 spots available for the A, the B, the 1:25, and 1:50. And we were fortunate enough, we put in for the one cover, and we were lucky enough that Jonathan was sitting on the email at the same time it happened.
Yeah.
So we got very, very lucky and picked up the Franny 1:50 as a virgin variant, and it releases this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern at birdcitycomics.com and hive-comics.com. Limited to 500. So
Nice.
Should be pretty dope. Cover or cardstock cover as always. We've been doing that for a while. I know Bird City. That was something we talked about months and months ago, and they started doing it too. So it'll be a cardstock cover, limited to 500.
And you're being super modest there, James, too, because prior to you telling us about the ability to upgrade the paper, we were just buried in damages. Yeah. So that helped so much.
We held that option tight to the chest forever until one day I think Ant was bitching about like crazy damages on a book you guys did, and we're like, dude, you know, you can add, like, it costs more, but you can ask for cardstock and yeah, and they still to this day it gets brought up every once in a while. It gets brought up like, thank you guys so much.
Well, because that's a huge deal. That says a lot about Hive and how you guys work, is that you could have kept that information to yourself, like you were saying, but you chose to share that with a retailer. So it wasn't like this sense of competition. It was more of a sense of community. And I think that's important. Yeah. And it was very revealing to how you guys are. And that, I think that's when Ant was like, we got to start working with Hive. We got to make this into something. And it's been a long time coming, but I'm glad that we're finally starting to collab. And this is a beautiful piece. If you guys are not following Just Franny on Instagram, you definitely should. Her art is phenomenal and she's so underrated.
Really underrated. And I've heard she's got some big stuff coming down the line.
Oh yeah.
I heard she's got some publishers reaching out to her right now for some more consistent work. So we're going to be seeing a lot from her.
So I have a question for both of y'all.
Yeah.
So how do you decide who gets the OA? Do you just split it in half, or?
I mean, this isn't one that's coming to us, and we won't talk too much about upcoming projects. There is like 6 current projects in the work. I do know that the OA for one that Laura knows, because we just showed it, is already on its way to us. So as far as I'm concerned, the OA goes to whoever's willing to pay for it, and probably whoever lines up the artist. But
yeah, I think it's probably, that's what I would say. Whoever lines up the artist and decides, because there's another one that you probably know what I'm thinking, and I want it. So yeah. And this is, do you know where she's based out of? Is she local? Is she in the US?
I could look. I might even still have her Instagram pulled out.
Perfect for signatures on this one. How perfect for a remark.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
This is one of those covers. If she's going to be at any cons anytime soon, I would definitely recommend snagging it up. What's the question? Chad, seriously, yes. How did you know that? Well, there goes that.
It's because our viewers have, like, you know,
intuition.
They're following, or you know, they get to know us well enough to see what our buying habits are currently.
I gave nothing away either. I was very tight-lipped, and he still guessed. So.
Well, it's because you listed out other artists, and then, like,
I guess that's true. Process of elimination. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess another guess would have been like what, Art Germ maybe.
Yes, I think but
I don't think I don't know if he has like a book like that. So.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
And then,
good guess, Chad. Good guess.
Yeah, he totally got it.
I can see where Franny's based out of, but I do know that I think she has something coming up with another retailer at a convention here soon. If I recall the information, if I'm not getting mixed up with somebody else, but I think she's got
Poison Ivy #3 that I highly recommend you guys looking up. It's beautiful. And again, I think we talked before the show started that her punchline's really, really good. So another artist that I'll be keeping an eye on. And yeah, if you guys aren't already, do us both a favor and follow Bird City Comics on Instagram, follow Hive Comics on Instagram, and we kind of keep everybody updated on what's dropping if you're following us on social media.
We both have text lists too. If you prefer your alerts through text, I know Bird City and us both have. You can get details on that on Facebook and Instagram pages, but we both have text lists too. I personally, like, I started doing that a year and a half ago, and now I love it.
Nice.
I get little text alerts whenever my favorite retailers drop stuff, and it's pretty dope. So, because you forget, you see how many messages and emails every day.
So it's the 1 in 50 cover, but it's a second print.
No, it's the Virgin, right?
It's a Virgin.
Yeah,
it's the Virgin variant of the 1 in 50. Yeah.
Second print,
Virgin
1 in
variant of the 1 in 50.
Yeah. And then so you said it was a print count of 500. Is that a 500 total?
500 total
split between
two retailers. Yeah, so
Okay.
250 for them, 250 for us.
Okay.
We don't mess around with the print number stuff.
Oh, so you're not like the four horsemen of we only have 800 Marvel books or 800. I'm not saying who those stores are. You know who they are.
I'm not
But-
well, and I'm not going to say we've never done that, right? I can definitely say that there's a period in time where most retailers did that. I can honestly say though that we are two of those retailers that actually did destroy books and have provided proof when asked and have done stuff that, I mean, our last one that we did, one of our more recent covers, we did the Maleficent. We did limited to 400, right? Because we knew how the books were going to ship because we've worked with the distributor before. Because these don't come straight through Diamond. We get these ones straight from Aftershock or Dynamite. Yeah, Dynamite. So damages are always heavy. So anybody who ordered Maleficent from us actually got sent a copy with the cover cut in half as a reader copy. Our Instagram has been inundated with people being like, "That's cool, but why'd you send me a messed up copy with my order?" And it's like, it's not a messed up copy. It's so you can read it and you can see firsthand that we did actually destroy the copies we said we destroyed.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is we know with this book, the cardstock covers, we're probably gonna end up with 5 or 10 damages, so why get rid of good books?
Yeah.
They're going to be good books. Every one of these is going to be a great book.
Yeah.
Covers are going to come in great. So the print runs 500. We're honest about it.
Oh, Laura, Adam is asking, do you know what issue of Punchline Franny did?
I think it was number 1.
It was the number 1 issue.
Yeah.
Number 1. Yeah, because the first time I got introduced to Franny was Something Is Killing the Children, number 13, 1 in 25.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
Yeah, it's a really good one actually.
To me, that's the one that sticks in my head that put her on the map to get her.
I think that might have been the first one I saw of her work too.
Yeah. I mean, because
go ahead.
I didn't want to say, is that possibly her first comic art? I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't think it's her first. Just looking at her portfolio of work on her Instagram, I don't think it's her first. But
I mean, because I know she was doing a lot of commissions beforehand.
Early.
Yeah. So
just to answer Overprint Refugee, you got to find a retailer that you trust. Find somebody that you haven't been betrayed by, and that's really all I can say there. Because I know what you're saying. There are a lot of times where you see things that have been fudged.
Yeah.
But just find somebody that you feel comfortable shopping with. And
I've certainly seen books sell out and then show up at conventions before.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've certainly seen it happen.
Batman 423 foil.
Damn it.
Comic drama.
Brian's not here, and I don't have a full drama report ready. So
there's your drama. There's your drama.
Drama alert. Yeah.
There hasn't really been anything drama-ish lately, has there? Or I just haven't paid attention.
I think the biggest news that dropped, I think that surprised a lot of people, was the Image thing, Image leaving Diamond.
Yeah. I mean, that's not drama. That's just a business decision.
That's just business stuff. But I mean, other than that, I haven't heard of anything too.
What about IDW? Do we know what's happening there?
It seems to me that I mean, because they let go a lot of employees recently, and then because they're trying to restructure, and they're losing a lot of IPs. But I mean, we already knew about the loss of IPs, so I think it depends on how well the writers and artists that are getting to come up with original IPs, how well those do in the secondary market. Meaning hey, is this book going to get optioned to something? Is this going to put us on the map? Is it going to reach the levels of TMNT, Usagi, G.I. Joe, any of the Marvel shared properties or Star Wars? I don't know the answer to that. Probably not. But, this industry is so crazy that, that something could surprise us, right?
Honestly, Overprint, I'm thinking about the same thing. I'm thinking about grabbing a drink here. Whenever I see Chad's name, I was like, I want to go grab a cranberry vodka. But anyway.
I've got beers coming to me as we speak, I think. My brother's staying with me for 10 days, and I just texted him. I'm like, bring me beers.
Are you guys from San Diego, either of you?
The what?
San Diego Comic Con? Either of you going?
I have a booth.
What about you, Yi?
So Bryan keeps on asking me if I'm going to be attending as well, and it's a maybe. Like, I don't have passes or anything like that, but he's like, you don't even need a pass to go. Like, just go hang out in all the after parties.
In the gala.
And you'll find a pass while you're there.
Yeah, that's true as well. Like, I'm sure I could buy one off of someone in the street or whatever. Or I'm sure we know enough vendors that probably have extra badges. That kind of stuff.
Me and Jonathan didn't have any last year. Well, we already lined ours up beforehand, really. But
yeah, I figured
while we were there, we were able to get. I mean, we could have gotten God knows how many more.
Yeah.
But in fact, Laura, are you and Ant going?
We are. I think we're actually sharing a booth with one of Anthony's connections. I'm not sure who, but I'm not going to actual con. Shocker. But we are going to the Hellfire Gala that they're doing that night.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing a Hellfire Gala.
They are. The Saturday of San Diego Comic Con. They're having the gala. They're hosting like the whole red carpet event. I think Disney's actually presenting it.
Dude,
but
cool.
yeah, we're gonna cosplay and go hang out with all the other cosplayers and comic.
Oh, actually, I need to check the dates of when it's happening because I know my band's playing shows in July.
The 21st through the 23rd of July.
It might be the 23rd. We're playing a show. I'll double check.
It's the 19th through the 23rd.
19th through the 23rd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're not going up to the 20th. That's right.
Yeah, I need to make a calendar for my band stuff.
We will be though. Bird City will be represented at San Diego, whether or not they're at their booth, because we will be part of our awesome collaboration here is that we're going to be splitting convention duties, I think, through the rest of this year. Well, I'm probably maybe not most of the rest of this year because we've still got titles that are coming out, but a lot of next year, I think you guys will be able to buy Hive books at a lot of cons that we're not at because Aunt Laura will be there. And you'll be able to get Bird City books at cons that they're not at because me and Jonathan will be there. So,
all right. Thank you. Thank you, Blind Adam, for the 99-cent super sticker.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
I didn't know what else to play. So
it's better than the $10 donation.
Oh, with the see, I don't have a soundboard with all the cool sounds. We don't have that.
I thought it was automated.
No, it's from a soundboard. Oh no, wait. For super chat, it's the fart noise. I think that is automated.
It's the fart noise.
That's what you guys chose to go. Okay.
Yeah. So,
James, are you seeing Spider-Verse this weekend?
Am I seeing Spider-Verse this weekend?
I was asking James, but you too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Either way.
I haven't bought tickets.
Right?
Yeah, it starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm probably seeing it tomorrow then. I'll grab my kids get out of school early, so
nice.
I don't have a lot going on tomorrow.
Because I know there's a couple of theaters that are they have items that they're giving away as well. Like Cinemark. Cinemark has a $45 package where you get a T-shirt, a poster, the ticket. I think it's a specialized ticket too, where they print.
Yeah, they did that. They did that with Guardians too, right? They did a special. I think they did it with Mario too.
Oh, nice.
I think they did special collectible tickets. I think their theater, that's their new thing for their theaters, like having these collectible, which I think is really cool.
So, you were saying you had a theory about what might be the end credits.
Oh, are you going to get into that here?
Do I get into it now or do I wait? I think I got to wait till he's at least on.
Oh, okay. Until at least Richie's on.
I think I got to wait till Richie's at least on. I know Jonathan's trying to find his way on here right now. He just asked me when it started, and I said 45 minutes ago.
So, Laura, do you see movies on opening weekend as well, or do you tend to wait?
I don't like theaters. It's the truth. I don't like them. Anthony and I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy recently, and I swear to God, I have like the worst luck. I sat next to these people that were just talking during the movie, which drives me nuts. I cannot stand it when people talk. She'd be like, "Did you see what just happened?" Like she would say it so loud, and I was like, "Oh my God." Or it's either that or somebody opening their candy when it's like a really sad, slow moment, and it's like.
I always end up sitting next to people that have to be on their phones the entire time, and so the light, I mean, it's not as bad as it used to be, but I also go to movies at weird times, so there's no one in the theater.
I'm not okay with that, but this is
Yeah.
the one exception. We actually bought tickets for Friday night, so I know it's going to be packed, and we're taking the kids, and we're to go see the Spider-Verse movie. So
Nice.
wish
Take
me
your
luck
text
that I
message,
don't
please.
land next to somebody who's coughing or takes off their shoes.
Just sit in the middle, like, of your family, so you're just surrounded by like
That's a good idea. Make my family deal with like
with the outside people,
Huh?
and then you could be in the middle.
it's like movie etiquette, people. There's movie etiquette.
Yeah.
There should be. But yeah, that's a good idea. I'll put Anthony on one side and put my son on the other, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, you have that cushion.
Exactly.
Cushion.
And then you can tap and like, hey, go get some popcorn.
Well, Anthony is like the kind of guy though that'll stand up. He actually almost did the other day, and he'll yell at whoever's behind us, and then we just like sit there uncomfortably the rest of the movie. You know, so it's like I'm like, don't yell at the people behind us. He's like these motherfuckers. I'm like, Anthony, no. I'm like, simmer down. But he's the guy that will scream at somebody in the theater.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah.
he would. He's always like, don't let your good time ruin somebody else's good time. It's kind of like his.
Ooh, this is a good
motto.
question. Adam is asking, has anyone had the Whopper from Burger King?
With the red bun. No.
No.
I don't.
So the Burger King I went to was out of the red buns, but I was really mainly trying to get the hard plastic cup, and then
Hat.
I don't care about the paper crown because that's like whatever. Because I feel like that's one of those items that will just sit like in my shelf, and then I'll forget about why I have this.
Yeah. I don't feel that way about the cup. I feel that way about the cup.
I mean, but it's like the eyes and everything, or it's a good visual for like if you're on a podcast too, right?
That's true. That's true. You can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't tried it. I know Jen did. She sent me pictures last night that she went out and got that.
Ooh, Brad Selden had it with the Impossible Burger. I do like some Impossible Burgers.
Yeah. Can't
No?
say it.
So I mean, I used to be vegetarian for such a long time that like veggie burgers, they've definitely gotten a lot better than what they used to be like 10 to 20 years ago. I'll say that.
I did go to the Surprise AMC. That's actually the one I'm talking about. I think I'm going to switch to Fat Cats. I went to the Surprise AMC, and it was Guardians of the Galaxy though. The same weekend it came out, we saw that, and it was just packed.
I think I waited a week before I saw Guardians.
Yeah, I waited about a week too. It wasn't horrible. Theater was still a lot of people, but it wasn't horrible.
Not gonna lie, I wanted to see The Flash, but I can't do it.
So they're doing an early screening for The Flash in Houston on June 12th. But it's like the location that they chose is it's an IMAX theater first off, and it's an hour away from where I work. It says Houston, but it's actually in a neighboring city that's out.
I still want to support Ezra Miller. I just don't want to put my money in a project.
Yeah.
I'm having a let's talk about that for a minute because like I personally struggle on that for that too because I really want to see it, and from there's some trusted reviewers that like there's a couple of guys that I know like my thoughts on movies are aligned with theirs, and some of them have seen it and have reviewed it and say it's amazing and it's like the best thing DC's done since and like I'm excited for that, but then the other part of me is like I really just so I'm like trying to deep dive like does he get any residuals from ticket sales? Does he get any like
that would depend on this contract though.
It, like doesn't matter because I can sit there all day long and say, well, I don't want to give him my money, but if he doesn't get any residual from ticket sales anyways, then shit, yeah, I'll go see it in the theater because I prefer to. But if not,
it has to be part of the contract to get some sort of royalty off of.
I'm sure it's part of it.
I'm sure it's like one of those things that the movie has to make X amount right before.
And then anything over that.
Yeah.
Do we know how it did? Or wait, no, we can't yet.
Unless you can see in the future.
I honestly think it's going to do well. That's the truth.
It's probably going to do really well.
Yeah. And then so the early screening that's happening in Houston, I'll just say Houston anyways, but they're also giving away a variant comic with that too.
Oh, you better go.
Yeah, but it's on a Monday night. Monday night for 30.
Go.
Do you think the comic's going to do better than $30?
Yes.
So it's 21 cities. Like I kind of figured this out with someone. So it's 21 cities that's doing it, and then the theater, like most of those theaters said we're guesstimating like 200 or something like that. So you can guess over or under that the print count of that comic is probably going to be around 4,000. But I mean, I get it. Also, it's not getting to hands of all or into hands of all comic collectors. This is going to be some random people, like just people that are there. So I think it'll be interesting to see how many of those comics survive from that, especially if you're going to. Yeah.
You could also, if you have no morals,
just go there and buy comics from people for like 10,
you
20
could go
bucks.
there a day early and talk to the manager. He's going to be the manager tomorrow night and say, hey, if one of these boxes disappeared real quick, slide you a couple $100.
I'm not that evil.
I'm not either. I'm just saying, if you were.
And we do not condone that at this
20.
channel.
Send me 20.
No, we don't condone it. That's a good way of putting it. We don't condone it. So like Lewis is saying that Ezra is slated to return in the Flash sequel. So they're already planning one.
So it's I think it's also kind of weird, right? That like someone that we know that's going through like court troubles, like live as like every week for like what several months, we were hearing something about Ezra Miller doing like something creepy or like disgusting, right? And then it's almost like, hey, why don't we reward him because he came out with this awesome film, blah, 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 versus like, you know, Jonathan Majors, like releasing great films for Marvel. And then he's getting tossed under the bus and then like kind of like completely cut off from Disney, like never to be seen again. Right. It's kind of, I mean, I know it's almost like comparing apples and oranges of what crimes they're doing, but at the same time, like, why is one being treated this way and the other one's being treated that way?
There's some real pieces of shit in Hollywood that were and that are beloved by everybody. And people have a very short memory when it comes to things. This is all fresh though. And that's the weird thing to me. I can't think of another time where somebody's been embroiled in so. I mean, the dude started a damn cult. And amongst countless other things that, you know, that he's been tried for, convicted of, and accused of, and not yet convicted of. And there's a lot of people like us that are like, yeah, he's a scummy dude. But there's a lot of people that just don't care. And it's weird. To me, it's weird that like some people are just like, I just don't care. You know?
Oh yeah.
But I guess that's just a difference in like some people can separate. They're like, well, this is he's just playing a character and it's his character, so I'm willing to watch it. And I kind of get that too, I guess, right? In a way.
Right.
Like you're going to see the movie, you're not going to see Ezra Miller, you're going to see the movie that he just happens to be in. And so I can kind of get that. So I would never talk shit on somebody for choosing to go see it. If you choose to go see it, that's your own thing. I won't say you're an immoral person for going to see it. I would never say that. You know, if you want to go get entertained for 2 hours, however you want to go get entertained, by all means, go get entertained. Me as a person, if I ever met the man, I would tell him he's a piece of shit. So,
and then we have another person joining us into the stream. Let's welcome in Jonathan from Hive Comics.
The Hive takeover.
Hey, what's up?
Apparently it's a cigar like power hour or something like that, because before you jumped on, James was finishing up a cigar.
You know, you make a good point. He's like, what about everybody else who worked on the movie? And I get that too, to an extent, because it's like, you do feel bad for it takes hundreds of people to develop these films. And that's why I guess they kind of have to be careful with who they choose for their leads. It's like,
I'm sure hundreds of great people worked on the movie.
And there were better options. I mean, the original one from the Flash from the show, I forget his name. That kid would have been perfect. Why not just make the show Flash and turn it into the movie Flash? That would have just solved everything, and there wouldn't be any of these creepy underlinings to it. So, but I get what you're saying, and honestly, I feel bad for the theaters too. But I guess we'll see once the movie comes out how it actually performs, and like what James was saying, whether or not people actually end up caring.
What movie?
For the Flash.
Very insightful, Jonathan.
Yeah. I'm not. DC movies have been pretty floppy.
We were talking about Ezra Miller in particular and whether or not it's right to support him by going to see it while it's in theaters.
Because he's a wacko?
I mean, yeah.
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 I guess this is where your morality line is, right?
Yeah.
Where you draw your line in the sand, like.
I do know. I can honestly say this: I will see it at some point. So, whatever that says about whatever it says, I will see it at some point.
I mean, that's why I'm really not considering driving an hour from my work to a movie theater in the middle of the night. And
then take the true stance and go there and pick up the book and then sell it to me for $30.
Why? When I can list it on eBay for probably like $200 or something like that.
I mean, maybe, but that's the gamble you take. You could just sell it to me for guaranteed money.
Yeah, but I think even selling it to you for $30 wouldn't even cover the taxes and
no. You're thinking
the ticket
too much into it.
and the gas to get there.
No, you're thinking too much into it.
I guess I don't. Do I not know everything about this Ezra Miller guy?
Probably not. I'll send you a link to his whole story. It's pretty crazy.
Well, I know he was.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't know until I watched an in-depth thing on him. Like, oh my god, wow.
Oh, so there's more than what popped into the news.
I mean, he had a sex cult for like a year and a half in the middle of the mountains,
grooming minors.
Yeah,
well, I knew about the grooming.
Yeah,
I knew about the grooming stuff. I knew about the break-in.
But they weren't minors in that country, so that was his justification behind it, and that's why he was never tried, and he never went to prison for it or jail for it. So,
but then that's like the same thing. Like, what didn't Bobby Lee get canceled because he
it's also allegedly, right? It's allegedly because he was never found guilty of anything. There was never a trial. So
right.
I guess Flash fans may have an inner issue with going or not, right? Maybe, but I could care less. So,
but are you more excited about seeing Spider-Verse?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse is gonna be cool. I might go tomorrow.
It's the soundtrack I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes. 100% yes.
And then Sony has always had a better sound catalog that they could pull music from.
Oh yeah. Yeah, their sound catalog's infinitely better than almost anybody. Everybody licenses their songs from Sony for their movies.
Yeah,
and
unless it's owned by Warner Brothers.
No, you can't have it because we're holding on to it for the next 3 years for this one specific thing.
Yeah.
Dave, that was toilet paper behind you, but it's packing bubble, right?
What?
It looks like you have toilet paper behind you. Like,
you had the biggest roll of toilet paper.
It's bubble wrap.
I'm like, damn, that's a... Oh, okay.
No, we've been sending off tons of CGC, so I had to finish up some CGC stuff today. So I roll it out across the entire room, and then I just take my books and I go. And
I saw that you guys got the 1 in 25 Jenny Frizzens for the woods.
Yeah,
that's all this guy. That's all this guy.
Jonathan being a sniper and keeping his eye out for stuff like that.
That's a story. Have you guys read it?
I haven't read it, but I know it's like what isn't that 10 units?
Yeah, I have the whole run, all the covers and everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just got the number 13 1 in 25 is coming back to 98. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah. It's even harder to find than that Frizzen cover.
I always forget to pick up that run from a comic shop I know that has it, and then the whole run they have it marked at $4, and I always forget to pick it up during their half off sale.
Just spend $4.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait.
Well, I mean, like if you're picking up the entire run, because it's like what, a 50 issue run, right, or something like that,
no,
or 20 something,
20
something,
34, something like that.
Yeah,
34, 36.
Yeah, Adam, I mentioned that earlier, dude. There's a lot of scumbags that are in Hollywood or sports in general, and like we as people tend to have a really short memory span when it comes to some stuff that's happened in the past. So people get forgiven a little too easily sometimes.
Yeah, Russell Crowe had a bunch of domestic violence charges on that guy.
Well, and then Mel Gibson has a huge Nazi collection.
Yeah, he's an anti-Semite. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Mel Gibson's a huge anti-Semite.
But
he gets drunk, and there's tons of videos of him getting drunk and saying all sorts of racial stuff. Same with Russell Crowe. They get drunk and say all sorts of horrible stuff.
He did that movie though.
He did Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's called it. That was his guilt film. He felt guilty, so he made a film.
Oh, yeah, I did not know that. Okay, learning a lot tonight, guys.
Yeah. There's your comic drama, right?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Drama. Jeez.
But we're giving time for Dollar to get prepped backstage, I guess, or something.
He's getting prettied.
Well, he's probably used to like the show starting late, anyways.
Hey, Aaron, what are you keeping your CGCs in now? You got any?
I didn't open that before the show.
You son of a bitch.
But that would have been a good.
Last time I sent you a present.
But that would have been a
live
good
unboxing. Do a live unboxing. We got time.
Okay. All right. Y'all talk about whatever. I'll go grab the box.
We do pickups. You just do early pickups.
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of stuff this week.
Okay.
Let's do pickups.
So I'll put Laura on the big screen as I am getting stuff ready.
Really am wearing booty shorts, so you guys just don't look. I'm just gonna turn my camera off. Hold on.
He doesn't have the standard layout stuff anymore.
Ooh, I got some good stuff. You're gonna be excited.
I feel like that's it.
All right. Well, I'll leave it. I'll be right back to grab that.
Oh, me and Jonathan are running the show.
What should we talk about? What retailer should we talk about? Oh, just
You talk shit on those Bird City folks. Those homely, honest bastards. Welcome to Jonathan and James's Cigar Hour.
What's Bryan doing?
He's at the Bad Idea event in Arizona.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the one I was supposed to go to and completely forgot about, and I feel really bad, but there you go.
Yeah, Laura forgot until I mentioned, or Aaron mentioned something, and she went, oh, shit. I was supposed to be there, too.
But I got my run in, so that's the important part. Right before the show, I just ran for like a mile. Okay. I have some random stuff that I picked up. A couple things that I've been wanting for a while. And then, yeah, I got an AOK in the mail, too, so I'll show you guys some of that.
Laura, are you a huge Frism fan?
Like, yeah.
Do you have any of her old Phantom variants?
I don't have her old fan. I'm trying to get the oldest. I have Grumble signed by her, which was some of her earlier work.
I'm talking way earlier, like 2012.
No,
11.
I'm still tracking things down. I have. I should show you what some of the other stuff I have. I have her.
Oh, we have someone else joining us to the stream. Let's welcome in Joe, Redhood Comics.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
Joe.
Man, what happened?
Booty shorts and came running.
So
why y'all going on at 8:00, dude?
Because the show's supposed to start an hour early, and then Bryan couldn't make it, so that means I was gonna actually start on time. I'm just joking.
So nobody told me that y'all were going an hour early, bro.
It's been like that for the last couple weeks, hasn't it?
Hey, don't go gaslight him, Aaron.
Oh.
All right, Aaron. Kill you, man.
That's really early prison. Spitfire.
Oh, I got that one.
Oh, dang it. I saw that this past weekend. I could have gotten it for like, I don't want to say how much. Like really cheap.
Go back.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah. That's worth an hour drive.
Yeah, early prison. Anyway.
I wasn't sure if it was that cover or if it was something else. And I was like, I think this is right. And then
Aaron Frisson will be at San Diego. We've been grabbing stuff for that. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I picked up a Golden Age collection.
You picked up a
Golden Age pickups right now, Redhood.
Huh?
We're doing pickups right now.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
So go get your stuff together while Laura's going through hers and I'm going through mine.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else, Laura?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put you on the big screen.
I got this recently. This isn't like this week, but this is one of my favorite covers. So there you go.
Oh, you have a Deadpool comic in your collection.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't think this is for Deadpool either. You were like, wait, why are they on the cover of that? But I just love I love the fabric. Another Frisson. This came from Matt DeVoe over at Cover Price. This is the foil.
Yeah.
Anthony grabbed me this when he was over in California. Turner, he got it for $1. So it's like, you can't go wrong. A huge DeCall fan, so I finally got the 1 in 25 for The Many Deaths of Lila Starr. Really good series, and I like DeCall. So that's
issue
another
2.
one. Yep.
Okay.
Isn't that pretty? I've been wanting that book forever. Raza, because I love Raza, and I like the cover.
Oh, love
another
that
one
cover.
that Anthony picked up.
The-
It was like
The fake
$12.
Bruce Lee cover.
Yeah. And then another AOK from DeVoe. This is the 1 in 100 for Indigo Children, Frozen.
1 in 75.
1 in 75. Thank you. You're right.
Yeah.
Beautiful, huh? Ooh, I should send that with you guys to get it signed. And last but not least, this is the Turner Spider-Woman variant, also from Matt DeVoe.
Nice.
That sums me up right there. It's a lot of Turner and Frozen.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I went on a little dive because I used to collect a lot of old Phantom variants in like 2010, 2010 till like 2014. And Frozen has a bunch for the book Revival.
Yeah.
And another book called Hoax Hunters.
I have Revival.
The Hoax Hunters one are like connecting covers. They're pretty sweet.
I'll have to look that up.
The Michael Moretti, early Moretti book.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
It got optioned like all the other, indie books get optioned.
Yeah, this is Andy Gernov who was saying that. Tiger, yeah.
Oh, Tiger Fett, yeah.
I was telling people, I was like, the only people or person I've seen do fabric like this would be Mark Brooks. When I think of like that fabric, and then when I saw this, I was like, God, that's so beautiful. And it makes me think of Anthony because
Nice.
Vision and Scarlet. So
yeah, I'm definitely when I have. I think on Saturday I'm going to drive back to that comic shop and pick up that Spitfire.
yeah,
Because I think they only had it for like $5 or something like that.
how much did I spend for this? I think I spent like 10, but I also had to pay shipping. So.
But you also broke the rule and bought it on eBay.
I did
during the show.
Yeah, that's vengeful. That's
During the
vengeful.
show?
Yeah, we were on
So-
long story short.
Yeah, she was on. Like, we give a warning before every long story short episode not to buy books on eBay
And I did.
and to go out into the wild and hunt for it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
And I
like,
did that.
I do that. I used to do that all the time. We'd be on I'd be on Mel's show, and they'd start talking about a book, and you'd immediately see me like be fully engaged, and they start talking about a book, and you'd see this for the next 10 minutes.
You shopping?
Yeah, just buying
Where is this?
5, 6, 7, 8 copies of something because they'd bring up a good point, and I'm like, shit, I never thought of that. Get all the cheap ones.
oh, nice.
So here's my pickups. It's pretty quick. I just got these. Like, I like semi-controversial covers. I love Golden Age shit. And Golden Age Guru was having a sale. I hopped on just to say hi and bullshit with him for a bit. But he had this. I couldn't pass this one up. This is a Real Heroes number 10. Colors are really good on it. It's actually like surprise. He put it as a 3540. I think it's probably closer to a 45.
Have you
It's
looked inside the
really
book though yet to confirm that?
The what?
Have you looked
What's
inside the
inside?
book to confirm, like in case like pages are missing?
Yeah,
or-
pages look great on it.
Oh,
Like
nice.
they're yellowed, of course, but like they look really good, and they're not overly brittle even. And then there's this Jughead 80, which is a crazy semi-racist alien cover. But I like it. I think it's cool. I like controversial covers. I love Golden Age stuff. Colors on this look really good. I unfortunately missed out. He had another Real Heroes that was a better cover in amazing condition for what it was, and it was so undervalued that immediately got picked up. Because he attached like a letter to it. It was like letter V or something like that. And I was like, claim letter V, but somebody typed V and then just hit enter. And then there was another guy that was like, I'll take V, and typed faster than me. So I ended up being like the third person in line immediately when he showed it. And I was like, all right, well. So this was my consolation prize because this was the other good one that I wanted. But yeah.
Someone's asking you to define semi-racist.
Semi-racist. Only on the weekends.
No, I mean, I like controversial covers, and I would say that the big-lipped African American looking alien is probably pretty racist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Ronnie, Rascal, and the Super Dog for the $1.99 super chat. Spider Dom, the spider fetish. I don't know what that's referring to. Is that a new Spider-Verse character that's showing up?
It might be. Who knows?
Spider Dom.
All right. I have like 3 items that I'll just go over real quick. So I've been buying cards still nonstop. I bought this Lewis Hamilton PSA 9 Sapphire. This is from the 2021 Topps Chrome. So F1. So for those that don't know, Lewis Hamilton is like the Michael Jordan of F1 driving. Is the best way I can say it. Yeah. So I got this card for $40. The boxes, the boxes are like $500, $400, something like that. So
and
like,
you got the best player for people that don't watch Formula One. The best player.
Yeah, and then there's rumors of him potentially his contract with Mercedes is ending this season, so he might be going to Ferrari.
Yeah.
So I was like, kind of like
2 more years, and then he'll retire.
Yeah, and Ferrari's doing really well, so he potentially wants to win them a trophy as well. And then not only one, but I got a second one too, the black and white Ray Wave, both for PSA 9s. I got them for like $40 a piece. So this was during the whatnot Slabathon sale or whatever. I saw some card seller, and I was like, what's the best price you can do on both? And then I ended up winning this from a Raz. So Star Wars. Cool. Yeah, Star Wars Heir to the Empire #1, CGC 96. Super stoked about it. I didn't even know I won until like way hours later. But it's gonna be perfect to put in the Hive case that Jonathan or that James had sent me recently. So like I saw the shipping notification and I messaged him. I was like, hey, thanks for sending me a slab case. But yeah, I definitely like this case. So super stoked to see how a book fits in there. And then the only other frame I've bought from anyone was actually from
How does the book fit in there? Let me see, Aaron. Just put the book in there, bro.
So the bottom opens.
Is it like an AFA case kind of deal?
I don't know what AFA cases look like.
Action figure authority case.
So I haven't.
Yeah, it's just like that. Yeah.
And then it comes with
Dude,
that piece.
that's badass.
That's very cool.
I like how it has the Hive symbol at the bottom, and then
hell yeah, that's dope, dude. I gotta get one.
Yeah. So are these on your website right now, or
it should be?
Okay. So Jonathan's saying yes.
But James did he leave or what?
Yeah, he walked off camera, and so so it's just perfect. I like how you have the logo on the backside too. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I saw it before you put the book in there.
Before I put the book in, and then it came with a little screw set too. So I will be setting that up, putting it right here. I'm going to lower this too as well, so you can see.
we still have like, I think we have 90 of them in stock.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it
how much
UV
are they?
resistant?
Yeah, it is UV resistant.
UV resistant, and what was the other question? I forgot.
How much are they?
You can get one for 25, or you can get a 5-pack for $100.
Oh, cool! And I like how they have the little notch on the bottom, so you can tell which way it's supposed to go, and it becomes flush on the side.
I actually haven't got one yet, but
I can't send you any. We're almost sold out.
We have 90 of them.
That is cool. That is.
We had 90 until I started hanging them on my walls, and I'm.
Those look like frames in the back, not case.
Yeah, my infinity frames from Bird City are like way too high in this room, in my bedroom, and I was like, I'm not taking one of these down, and because I use them all the time.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah.
Overcurrent, yes, they are UV resistant. I think the rating is 97% UV, so I would still recommend rotating your books. I would never suggest, even if you pick up something that's 99% UV resistant, I still wouldn't have it directly across from a window. You know what I mean? But it makes it safer to display your books for sure. Like I've got the books I currently have up. One of them it's going to be 100 years old here pretty soon. You know, nice. I mean, it's a book that there's only a couple of on the entire CGC census. Like there's only a few known to exist, and I trust it. And I have a window straight across from it. Now, granted, that window's rarely open, but I still feel comfortable having light come through and be near it. So, I mean, I trust them.
What's the frames behind you, James, on the walls? What's on the walls behind you? Is that OA?
Yeah, it's all OA.
Dang, that's cool.
That's only a fraction of
That way, Jonathan's got even more sitting at his house.
Really? Do you have
Cool.
prison? Prison away? I
Any
don't
prison away? No.
No, but you know, if
Jonathan found a bunch of interior pages. He hits me up the other day. He's like, "Oh, I forgot I had all these interior pages." And it's like it's just a stack of interiors.
Tony,
those, huh?
only on Halloween should you be displaying books in the front yard
the front yard.
to hand out to kids.
Hey, so I was at Half Price Books, right? And this old man approached me, and he goes, "Do you like comic books?" And I said, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to beat the shit out of an old pedophile, right?" and so I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I've got some old comic books. I want to sell." And I go, "What kind of books do you have?" "Old." And I go, "What kind of condition?" He goes, "To me, condition is everything." And I go, "Okay, what? How old are the books? 30s, 40s, 50s?"
Uh-oh.
And I go, "I'm interested." So I got his name and number, and then I called him 2 days ago. We met up yesterday, and I bought like a little bit of what he brought me to see first, right? I guess he is testing me. So this is the type of stuff I picked up yesterday. So
I'm gonna put you on big screen for this. I'm excited.
Mighty Midget Comics from 1942. So this is Bullet Man, and the reason I picked and they're odd books, but the grades are impeccable. Like this is like a 9.8.
It looks fantastic,
dude.
Well, yeah, for the age and the colors are really popping as well too.
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick bird's eye view here. So I started freaking. I said, "What the fuck did I just buy?" Right? So look at that. It's even got the
wow.
Look how clean
that. Oh my God,
dude! Look how white these pages are, bro.
Oh.
It's not even funny how mint this is. The staples aren't even rusted or anything. And I'm thinking to myself, where the hell did the guy was from Alabama?
He's a time traveler.
Guy's from Alabama, and I guess I don't know, wherever he kept them in Alabama. It just I mean I just don't know how from 1942 they were able to stay this pristine. But there's one on.
He's a time traveler. Come on now. You know the answer to that.
Well, there's they have these a couple of them are graded on eBay, $600-700.
Wow.
And this is high, better looking than those. And then I picked up these. Same thing with these. These are like impeccable grades. Let me see. Let me show you. Try and go as fast as I can here. So same thing here. See that?
Oh wow.
See? Yeah. Just it's redonkulous, dude. And then this one.
I'm excited to see your Action Comics 1.
Bro. And then Golden Arrow. I think that's number 11. And then another Phantom Eagle. And these are mint, dude. This Nevada Jones. Mint. Like white pages, dude. It's nuts. 1942.
So are any of these like close to the platinum age, or is it all like golden age?
So 1942 to the 50s and then 60s is what I picked up.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And then so I picked up this white pages high. I mean, it's a fucking high grade, bro. Look at that.
Wow, that green is like popping.
Look,
it's insane.
Look at this. Look at the back cover of this, dude. Are you serious?
Wow. That looks white.
Bro, I thought I was looking
off a printer yesterday.
Bro, I thought I was looking at like the Edward Church collection or something, dude. I was like, oh my god, dude.
And the corners are super sharp too.
And then he had some beautiful Tarzan books, dude. These are like just crispy mint. And I know nobody goes crazy for Tarzan, but I had to pick them up just for the principle of how good they looked. Like right off the newsstand. You know my trick, Aaron, right?
Yep.
That's when you know it's mint. Yeah. So hold on. Let me go through these real quick.
Blue Green wants to know: are you going back for seconds?
You better.
I am. I am, bro. So Blondie Comics.
Oh, sweet.
That's the wrong question. The question you should be asking is Redhood, do you need a partner?
some Dogwoods. I picked up over like 300 of these.
I saw Peanuts in there. Where was Peanuts?
Yeah, I saw a Peanuts book too.
Is Mickey Mouse?
Is that Peanuts number 1?
No, this is.
Okay.
I don't know what number this is.
Some of those books go for big money, Joe.
Look, okay, so yeah, so this one right here, Little Max.
Go scream over how lucky you are right now.
I know, dude. Look how white this cover is, dude.
It's like you hit the lottery ticket.
Incredible. This is incredible,
real.
Bro. Look how white that is. It's not even funny, dude.
It looks new.
I know. What? I was like, damn, I don't even have to clean or press
You
them.
don't even have to press them.
Bro, I mean, they're like, I'm gonna send these in for sure.
Nice.
This is like that Funko. that Funko
predates the first Freddy Funko, right?
Yeah. Some Disney, got some Disney, but look how, dude. I mean,
I'm seriously jealous right now. I'm trying not to be, but I'm jealous. I want to jump through the
Sony,
screen.
This is why you have to learn technology.
It's a black cover, and look at that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's actually a black cover.
Mandrake the Magician #1. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
I own one of
super
those.
high grade.
I own one of those, not nearly in that grade, but I love that cover.
I got a couple of, this is silver. Got a couple of these Yogi Bears, but they're like
That's really cool.
mint. The original Mighty Mouse was Super Mouse, right?
Oh, nice.
This one, Adobe Gillis #1.
Wow. Has a thinker on the background.
Look at this Tarzan, bro. Look like Alec Baldwin, dude.
Crazy.
And then this Tarzan book, I looked this one up. This one's kind of pricey. It almost looks like a foreign, but it's not.
Yeah.
It does almost look like a foreign, huh?
So are you going to be sending a lot of these, like after you grade them, are you going to be sending them to Heritage? You think?
I don't know. I gotta price through them, but like
I think if you have like the highest on the census
cool.
and stuff like that,
That.
you
That's
kind of
cool.
have to for any ones that you don't want to keep.
Yak #1, and look at this sweetheart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh wow.
Mama. And then Haley Mills goodness.
Oh
The
shit.
Parent Trap.
Yeah.
Is that like the original photo variant cover?
Yeah. Look at this Bugs Bunny. Now this doesn't
Wow.
go for mad money, but I didn't see one in this condition. So
Well, you say they don't go for mad money, but I guarantee you every one of those books in those grades will go for mad money. I mean, that's
and then
insane.
Swiss Family Robinson.
Cool.
And then I posted this on my IG. It was just now my comic shop has a 6.0 graded going for like 450.
But how
So-
faded does it look too compared to the
Yeah,
colors that you're showing
this
us
one,
on those?
This one, the colors are really vibrant. The guy was from Alabama, so this guy was an Alabama football player, so he had some of these in there. And then Pollyanna.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look how mint that is, dude.
Wow.
Are those
And then he
based
had
on the movie?
Yeah, he had some Tarzans. And then some Sally Field goodness. Let me see. Hold on. I still got another box I got to go through.
So did you see stuff? Did you see stuff that did you see Big Boy stuff, or do you feel like he was hiding that stuff away?
Yeah. So I called him. I go, okay, man. I want to see. So I'm going to go to his house.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's got
I was gonna
baseball
say,
and football
it's pretty
cards.
common
He's
for
got
for guys
baseball
that
cards.
know-
Baseball cards as well.
Yeah.
Dang. You better
So-
call Nate so you can help him complete the set.
So little Lulu's.
The second you said he said condition to him is everything, and
Yeah.
oh, he knows what he's talking about. Then.
Yeah,
So
but
he was testing you 100%.
yeah. So
Those are cool.
That blondie's
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah.
That blue on those older books does not age well.
look at this Dick Tracy, dude.
Oh sweet.
Oh wow.
This is from like 1952.
That's so neat.
Looney Tunes. Well, and then of course some Beto Baileys. But look at that cover, man. Look how white that is.
That's crazy. And then you're saying also the staples aren't
Yeah.
rusted on any of these?
Nuh-uh. No.
That's crazy.
And then he had 2 of these. I looked them up, but nothing is in the condition that these are in. You know, these are, you know. Then Ringo, another kind of semi-white. This has a little tanning. You know, Beetle Bailey, Dagwood. He had a Tonto, a 10 center. But I mean, look at that. There's no spine ticks on it whatsoever. This is fucking crazy, dude. So I was like, okay, there's really not a major key, and there's no major superheroes. But so I'm looking at it, I said, man, I mean, I can't not take it, you know? I mean, it's just the condition. So it's another way of looking at collecting.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like one of those once in a lifetime opportunities too, right?
You'll have the greatest examples of each one of those books.
Look at this. Isn't that great? Look at that.
Yeah.
Henry, look at the doggy, dude. Look at the pooch. And then this has a little tanning, but man, no ticks or anything, man. He had a lot of little Lulus, dude, but I don't know. Oh, look at this one, dude. Oh my God, dude. Look how white this fucking cover is, dude.
Wow.
Right? Here's the backboard. There's the book.
You need to get off the stream and go back and buy everything else he has, like immediately.
I'm going to be at his house on Saturday.
Okay.
So
Tony, you got to come down to Texas before then. So
he had some Forbidden Worlds.
Those are cool.
And then he had this Superman I had to pick up.
Oh wow!
Oh, no, not that one.
So that's one of my favorites. Just crazy stuff like this. I mean, look at that.
Like those colors are so vibrant. Like it's just amazing to see that.
Unexpected. I found this while I was at half price. I was like, "Oh, cool, Elvira! This one goes for some money."
Nice.
I mean, high grade. Look at that. And then he had these full like a run of all these Star Spangled Wars.
Oh man,
like high grade, dude.
Yeah, that's my jam right there. I love those.
I'm going to start it off at $1, 1 minute. Look at that. Isn't these cool?
Yeah, those are really cool.
Look how good this one is. Look at that.
Those old romance books.
Yeah.
I know a lot of those.
Lady blonde in a red dress.
I know. I was actually thinking that too as soon as you put that up. I love it.
Hawk and Dove. I could have sworn there was another one of these in a box back there.
Chad Cave is saying he's never seen a high grade Challengers of the Unknown until now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Those are the ones I like. That's beautiful.
It says, I knew you could.
I like the old romance, Golden Age romance covers too. I think they're cool.
Remind me of Roy Lichtenstein.
Said, I knew you'd come crawling back to me, baby. And then she says,
but
I should hate him. I should run away, but I can't. I can't.
But
she says I can't twice. I can't.
But Lichtenstein stole his art from a comic artist during that time period.
Oh, look at this one.
Did he? Who was it?
It's different artists over time. I don't know off the top of my head.
But the first Iron Wolf.
There's a couple websites that go over it, and then like, you know, what's crazy is like what they only made a few $100s to do the comic art, and then Lichtenstein made millions off of it.
Oh, millions! He was one of the biggest artists in that time period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop art.
Commandi.
And then look at this Jerry Lewis. Isn't that cool?
That was really cool.
Another Davis.
Pretty sure Joe won the pools this.
Oh, he
this
kicked
show.
everybody out.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
He won
look
it
at
after
this,
the first
dude.
book.
This is Steve Ditko art. Look at this, Adventures into the Unknown.
Oh, that's
look at
amazing.
the great. I mean, look how beautiful. I mean, a little bit of spine stress right there on around the staple, but other than that, and then this cool cover, Hellcats, high grade, white pages. Nice. All these are white pages, man.
Did he say how much he spent?
No, and he shouldn't.
It's rude to ask.
And no, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't say how much he spent.
Oh, me?
Yeah, he should not.
Do you want to say a range? You can say around this number.
He shouldn't say anything about that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah,
his secret. It's his secret.
I will say this though: if you grab the rest of that collection, you honestly could probably put in for pedigree.
Really, you think so?
I think so. I think you could hit up the proper people that be in and put in for pedigree on it.
These are like,
because those will all be, dude. You've probably everything you've shown. There's 80% of that's going to end up being top of grade on those books, and that's what they look for. CGC looks for pedigree stuff.
I mean, this
what,
is
what would you call the pedigree, Joe?
I think more it would be a provenance, right? Because you procured it from somebody else. But if you procured it from one collector, I think it would be a pedigree.
Well, if that collector got it from the same source, right? Or something like that.
Yeah,
it's something weird like that.
So, and the guy also had like old DVDs. It's like, man, he's a pack rat, dude. Like, and so
was it like looking at yourself into the future?
No, man.
Or you're gonna find out Saturday.
I would have went to his house, dude, but like I didn't have anybody to go with me, and never
I'll go with you.
Anybody's house.
I'll go with you.
Oh yeah.
I'll go with you.
Because it was just weird how he approached you. You know where I can sell comic books, and he knows, right? He just doesn't want. If he would have went to a comic shop, they would have given him $2 a book. You know,
it's like, I'm giving you way more than the cover of the price.
Then he had these old bonanzas. I mean, stuff just from olden times, but just, man, the grades were just unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
I still got one more box to go through. But I put them all in new Mylars, of course. He had them in old school Mylars that I remember from. I still remember the feel of the old semi Mylars from the 80s, man. You know,
almost a rubbery texture.
You could call it when Texas pedigree. But I mean, the guy came from Alabama, so wouldn't it be the Alabama pedigree?
But this is gorgeous, dude. Like, look how the greens pop and the yellows. I mean, and then this one, for it to not have any spine ticks on a black cover. I'm gonna check the date on this fucking little Lulu here. This could use a little bit of a prep. 1959. Wow. Look at this. Look at the inside.
It's perfect.
Look at that.
Yeah. And so you can see, you can see right there, you know, that's not color touched or anything like that.
Look at the back, bro. Are you serious? Bro, this is nuts.
So were you losing your mind when you saw those?
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I mean, I wanted to see like fucking Action Comics and stuff, but then something in my head just like, shit, these are high grade, bro.
They're not high grade. They're probably top grade.
Yeah.
On damn near every one of those books.
Let me see.
You're gonna have
this
top grade on almost every one of those books.
Dang. You're making Chad Cave so jealous.
Too. I'll never find anything that cool ever.
See, this is why I switched to cards. Yeah.
On a side note, I wasn't joking about that. If you decide you need a partner to grab this collection, hit me and Jonathan up.
Okay. He said he sold a bunch of his graded cards. So I mean, he kind of knows what he's doing. But he's getting on there in his years.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, let me see this one right here. Hold on. Let me take this one out. Probably should have my gloves.
Nice. I'm excited to see what you end up picking up on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
I know, me too.
Like he's like, see y'all. Like, I'm a millionaire now. Like, here's my Detective Comics 27, my Action Comics 1.
You get me on the Saturday show.
Bro, I get anything like that, there'll be an emergency podcast, dude.
You're gonna fire up your own show. Help me decide what to do.
Who wants to go with me to Heritage?
already up there. I'm with you.
And then, you know, you're good enough friends with Josh, or you can be like, hey, hit up Matt Nelson and let him know, like, this is coming in. I'm expecting my my Black Label pedigree.
I'm carrying these in would be the call. I'm bringing these down in my vehicle.
It's like, can you fly me out to Florida?
Yeah,
to drop these off.
Will you send me your private jet? I'm bringing this stuff in,
bro. Yeah. And the cut on these like is just amazing, like straight. Usually they're off cut in the back with the Bro, Harvey Comics. This is 19.
Chad, he'll have more on the next show. That's the thing. He's grabbing more on Saturday.
Tony's
saying that's a show more on the next show. No, there will be more on the next show.
This is a Back to the Future comic, man. 1955.
Blue Green is so jealous. He's saying that's a beautiful facsimile collection.
Yeah.
Didn't you know? Joe's picking it fresh off his printer. Like he has all those presses. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's pretty cool, man. I mean, just the
peanuts. Yeah.
It is.
Like, I mean, that's a pretty classic cover too. Like I'm pretty sure I've seen that like several times.
And then,
but nothing like that where the background's like so vibrant and everything.
Let me take this one out. Look at this.
Chad Cave says, "I hate everybody."
10 cents. Hey, y'all are gonna get mad when you see the back.
Oh, that's so cool.
Dang.
Shut out Matt Nelson.
Are you sure this guy doesn't have a time machine?
Bro.
Like, I'm still not convinced that he doesn't.
I'm not convinced he does either.
FBI, look at hey, bro.
Is that a J. Edgar Hoover letter too?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, it smells like a comic.
Hey, he's saying Redhood must have been a saint in his previous life. Comic karma's real.
Mm-hmm.
Comic karma is real.
Like Joe has been like one of the nicest people I've ever met in comics.
Thank you.
So.
Well,
and the funniest.
I may gift a couple of these. You never know.
Yeah.
So I didn't pay an arm and a leg. I will tell you that. But I did for these damn Mylars.
but you paid a fair price where you weren't like
he was okay with it. He was okay with it. He because I just want to get rid of them.
He's doing the long con on you anyways because he knows that you're gonna buy more from him.
So this was interesting. These two flying saucers. It's the same fucking cover. One's a 12 center and one's a 15 center.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is really cool.
One's issue, and they're two different issues, but it has the same fucking cover, and it's weird.
You're definitely gonna make Bryan jealous.
And then Spaceman, Spaceman. I don't know what issue this one is. It's man, it's a nice cover. This one is a little tan in the back. I'm gonna give this back to him. Right? Hey, you lied to me, bro.
You said condition was everything.
But so I called him and he goes yes, and I go, hey, do you have any more comic books, man? And he goes, and he was quiet, and I wanted to tell him, come on, dude, what the fuck, right? So I'm trying to use that constant gentle pressure to he goes, I gave you a lot of good comic books. I go, yes, you did, and I love them. I want more. I want the rest of them. I want to buy more. And I go, I'm not worried about money or whatever. He goes, well, I got to go through the garage and see what I have. And I said, you know what? Why don't I just go to your house? And then we'll talk a number there, Yeah. So this guy's a cash guy, so I'll probably just pull some money out, and then because if they all look like that,
yeah.
Right. I was hitting up Wilbert. And I was sending him pictures. I go, man, you got to see this, man, because Wilbert's got a badass collection. So
yeah, he's saying that the Flying Saucers are the first and last issues of the run.
Oh, okay, cool, man.
So that would make sense as the price difference, and then kind of doing a swipe of the first cover.
That is cool.
Yeah, I'm going to send these off to get graded because I already saw they have these graded on eBay, but nobody's buying them. But from what I can see,
well, I think that's a cool. Going back on that, I think that's a cool idea. I almost wish they did that. What if they ended every series by reissuing the issue 1 cover.
Yeah.
Might be kind of a cool end cap, right? People that missed out on the issue 1, because collectors pick up steam throughout the run.
So Overprint is saying old guy taking a bit of a risk of taking a stranger to his house with a collection like that.
Unless he has ulterior motive.
We live in Texas. He's from Alabama. I wouldn't be afraid of that kind of situation. Like, I'm sure the guy is well protected.
And his wife was there or whatever, so I could hear her. He goes, "Mom," and she goes, "You need to get rid of all of it, right?"
So Redhood has guns. He probably feels very comfortable with Red Hood going to his house.
I mean, because we, I looked
and his
little bit out. We were talking at Half Price Books, and we kind of the same way. We just love to collect magazines, cards, like just old nostalgia. I picked up a Marilyn Monroe. He brought some Life magazines. I said I was hoping he had some Sports Illustrateds. So he brought all these Life and Look magazines, and he brought a stunning Marilyn Monroe, and I said, I got to take that, so I've got that in the other room.
Lewis is saying, don't go into the basement. Luckily for us, we live in Texas near the coast, and there are no basements.
There is no basements.
Yeah, so I mean, I've priced these out. I've more than like quadruple what I paid. It's just, and some of them, like the artists on there, and then there's a letter from another artist in one of these books that was probably go into artist first.
And then we have a Canadian super chat from Mojo Pen. Long time no see. How's it going? Stay safeness. Thank you so much.
And God, and those romance books, they're starting to carry a premium now. So
yeah. DT is asking, what book issue is the Charlie Brown and Snoopy on the cover? So I think
the one that I have.
Yeah, the Peanuts.
The penis. You remember?
Oh yeah,
Mace Venture.
Sure, yeah.
He goes, no thanks, I've got one.
Yeah. And then what else? What part of town is he in? So, Joe lives.
Don't tell him where I live.
Okay. He lives where Whataburger started. There you go.
This is
the city where Whataburger was.
This is founded. Issue 6, 1961.
Amazing, Joe. I'm happy for you. Yee, I'm going to go ahead and tap out, but thank you for having me on. And Joe, I'm really excited to see what you have on Saturday. I cannot wait. Because if
keep your fingers crossed.
Okay, before you go, Laura, you were saying yesterday, I believe that on Nearing Nirvana this Friday, you're having a sale. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are doing the first Near Nirvana auction. So we'll be putting a link in the Near Nirvana chat. So if anybody wants to hop in and just sell some books for the night, we've never done it before. So we're excited.
Hey, I could sell some of these.
Joe's going to be there. Joe's going to be at the auction on Friday, and I'll send it out to you, Yee, and all the rest of the guys. So if you guys don't mind coming out and supporting it, it'd be cool.
Let me
I need to price some stuff.
You could the first Red Hood pedigree here, bro.
Yep. Yeah. It's kind of perfect. And then yes, we do have our World Tree #2 second print 1:50 virgin ratio that we collaborated with Hive on, and that launches Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at birdcitycomics.com and hive-comics.com.
Yep.
There we go.
Beautiful, beautiful cover.
Wow.
And then what time is this cover dropping? Because I know it's limited to 5
p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern. Is that on both websites?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 500 print. There'll be 250 with Hive, 250 with Bird City. And yes, it's beautiful. And I'm going to try to find out if she's going into any cons, because I think it's perfect for remarks and signatures. And I'm a fan of the artist. I think she does a really great job.
Well, and then James Tynion is showing up to a lot of different conventions throughout con season as well.
And he has said that World Tree is probably his most daring book that he's ever written before. He's very excited. And if you guys haven't read it, it's a good one. It's really, really good. The first issue, I was hooked.
See, after I read the first issue, I was like, I want to give it this. Let me give the next couple issues to see if I really love them. I enjoyed the first first issue.
See his pattern if you read. I don't want to give too much away. If you read the first issue, you can kind of tell. If you read any of his other works, he kind of has a rhythm to how he delivers information.
I can see that. Yes,
I'll put it that way. That's
a good way without spoiling the issue. Yep.
So yeah, definitely come out and support us. But thank you for having me on. And yeah,
thank you for joining.
We'll see you later. Bye, Joe.
You haven't gotten the grades yet, Laura?
No, I haven't gotten any. We got some stuff in the other day, but it wasn't that. I know. I am waiting. I promise you, I'll do an unboxing.
They better not fuck up that book, man.
I gave Joe some of my treasures. I'm gonna send him my Voltron #1.
You have Voltron #1?
Yeah, I got it recently for a really good deal too. The guy was definitely hooked me up on that.
I have the Wizard of Oz one.
Hackslash. So that was technically her first.
Oh yeah, the Hackslash.
But, Voltron was the first published. So
yeah. The goal is to get both. So
yeah, one day I'll probably get both. The artist is Franny. So just Franny on Instagram. I think it's Justine Franny to be exact.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So here's the image again.
Yeah. And we're excited to work with Hive. Jonathan, we're excited. We have a lot of good stuff coming up. So please stay tuned for that, guys, and have an awesome night.
All right.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
All right. Wow, it's been an hour and a half. I still don't know where Richie is because we were supposed to review all 300 spider characters, and I'm gonna keep on saying that, even though that's not true. But since y'all are new to the panel, or Joe is at least, are you excited about seeing Spider-Verse 2, Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah. See maybe if there's any kind of spoilers or stuff that will kind of help move this thing forward, man. But
yeah. Did y'all hear, I mean, this is off topic now, but did you hear what happened over at Panini over the Memorial Day weekend?
No.
So Panini, at their headquarters was broken into during the holiday weekend, where servers were stolen, the CEO's office was trashed. All kinds of people are talking about this, so there's all. Yeah, so they're thinking it's former employees
Absolutely.
that get that because not only because they
an inside job.
Well, they broke down walls to break into certain rooms to steal servers. So how which room to which walls to break down in the headquarters of a building, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna just kind of guess am I gonna end up in the card vault like they have? I don't even know what they have in card vault.
Did they take what's the most expensive thing they took?
They don't know yet. They're still figuring that. I mean, the servers would be right.
I would guess servers but then intellectual property is probably also contact information to certain players or agents or whatever. I would assume that stuff is priceless. But as of money right now, if they don't wipe all the servers and stuff like that, that was probably, those are pretty expensive. I would assume cards were stolen as well, redemption cards, whatever, jerseys.
Right. I'm giving all the redemption cards back to their original owners, like a Robin Hood. Hey, Mike, this is so-and-so from Panini. Yeah, I've got your card. Holy shit, I've been waiting 15 years for the redemption. Well, I've got it, and it's coming to you.
Well, did you hear about that 1-of-1 Immaculate card? That was it's a dual logo man rookie card for a Celtics player, I want to say, from 2015 or 2016. And the guy has been waiting for it in his ticket queue on Panini for 4 years, and it's sold on eBay recently for for 25,000. So the guy's
that's horrible.
Well,
that's the guy sent you that as a preliminary for what he's going to do when you go to his house on Saturday. That's why you need to fly me down. I'll come with you. Hell, you don't even got to fly me down. I'll fly down. I'll pay for my ticket. I'll come with you, just to keep you safe, so that doesn't happen to you. So he doesn't pull a Superman.
It was backyard breaks.
Backyard, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Lucas, who's waiting for me to get off the show to play Warzone with him in the chat.
It's the full Hive. Yeah, that is true.
Don't ask Jonathan and I. I was conveniently on a boat all weekend. Okay, no photos, but I was on a boat, and Jonathan, his family was in town, so he's no photos of that either. But don't ask us where we were at.
I see Jonathan got a haircut.
He did. He's joining the military. I don't know if you guys noticed that. He aged out. He aged out, but they said due to his mustache, they'd let him become a colonel. It's the weirdest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. The Army's got weird standards right now. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
I was actually
You're muted. I don't know if you know that.
There we go. Mail call there's my mail call right there.
I was actually going to see how my lighting was outside because I might relocate back to my phone to smoke another cigar.
Yeah, I'm giving this show like maybe another like half hour to an hour before either Richie or Bryan jumps back on. But yeah, because I have no idea. I really had nothing planned for the show at all. Like it was literally like to hang out, and then
can I say this though?
Yeah.
Without there being an agenda, right? And I love Bryan's agendas. It keeps us on topic. He always has really cool insight on some really awesome topics and shit that maybe fly under the radar for a lot of us. Mm-hmm. He pays a lot of attention to things. I feel like I just want to pat ourselves on the back. I feel like we've done a fair job here in his stead. You know, I feel like we all deserve a little
pat on the back,
little something here.
I think I've done enough podcasts where I can sit in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Aaron is the ultimate. He's like the Mariano Rivera podcast, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, like
I'm calling in Yee.
I'm calling in Yee.
Right. Like, he put the skull and crossbones on his glasses, like a fucking
Vaughn. Rick Vaughn.
Yeah, Ricky Vaughn.
I actually do want to find a skull and crossbones. I think that would look pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And then like what? Lightning on the side, right?
Back pat motherfuckers.
Hey, did you guys hear the spoiler from The Flash? I don't know if it's true, okay? But there's allegedly a Nicolas Cage Superman appearance.
No way.
Okay, no.
I want to believe, but I don't believe it.
I don't either, but it's what I heard.
I'll believe it when I see it, and I'm not seeing it early to find out if it's true.
That will just turn DC movies into just a complete joke from then on. We'll just be looking for shitty cameos every fucking movie.
Did you see Aaron, Three Rivers Comics had a comment in the section. You see that?
The rumors are this one?
Yeah. So give me a minute to transition outside, and I'll go through my whole spiel real quick.
All right. I'll read his comment while you're getting ready to do that. So Three Rivers is saying, rumors are flying on the live action Miles being announced. Do you have 9/8 now? What do you guys think? Good investment / spec, or still too many copies on the census? I mean, personally, like,
what does that mean? Too many copies on the census?
So like, because of the amount they've printed of that book, right? That I would compare the numbers of a UF4 to like what an ASM 300 or like a Hulk 181. You know, as long as there's always going to be a demand for that book, and then depending on the supply, like people will always command for that book, right? Will it reach to? I think the real question is always like, will it reach back to that $3,000 price for a 9/8? And I think over time, so. I think eventually over time, I don't think it's going to launch up into a price like it did over the pandemic, but I think eventually over time, just like those books like ASM 300, Hulk 181, you know, those books didn't become 5-figure books overnight. I mean, I'm not saying that ASM 300 is going to be a 5-figure book, but like Hulk 181, that didn't just become a 5-figure book overnight, right? Or 6 figures in a 9/8. it gradually increased to that over time. So I think it's one of those books that will project over time, that as long as there's a demand, which there will be another demand for it when, like when Jonathan's kids grow up to be adults and have money to invest into books or whatever, if they choose to do that. That's kind of like what my opinion is about it.
I just early Miles Morales books aren't a bad investment at all.
Yeah.
Like if you could get like scarce ones like second prints and things like that, I would look for things with small print runs of Miles. Like if you can't get a Ultimate Fallout 4, look for something.
You can still get the second print Fallout 4 is pretty cheap.
Oh yeah. See, and that one was heavily printed, but no, I mean you could get that for like $200, right? So
which one do you go for though? Do you go for the Pacelli cover or the I guess what, Bagley?
I like the white cover with him with his face like a Todd Knox style.
The headshot variant is a better headshot variant.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna remove the other James and add Cigar James. So I answered my portion of what my opinion was for that question, but do you need it back up on the screen to answer, or do you remember it kind of?
I remember it. So I do have to ask the chat though. So I remember I want to say it was a year and a half ago when they were currently in the filming process of the latest Spider-Man movie, that everyone was freaking out. You guys remember the freak out of like, there was a kid that was on set that was photographed in street clothes, and then a couple days later he was photographed in mocap, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's Miles Morales, right? Like, I don't know if all you remember that, but I remember freaking out about it. I know for a fact I sent images to Jonathan. I think I talked about it on Bryan's show. Like, it was kind of a big deal at the time. Ultimate Fallout did see a jump because of it. I always held the theory that they were filming scenes for Miles showing up while they were filming that movie. And then when they went into the whole multiverse thing, I was like, okay. I was expecting him to show up in Spider-Man, but the fact that he didn't kill the theory, because I'm like, okay, if they're going off of multiverse, they could have filmed scenes of him hanging out on the street corner while the fight was going on in Spider-Man 3, right? Or the latest Spider-Man movie. Like, could have been a whole thing where he was there and they wanted to show that he was there and they built the sets, so have him there. So I have a theory, and I know people have seen the movie, and I feel like at this point we would have known if the theory panned out. But my theory was always that there would be an end credit scene that shows him going from the Edge of the Spider-Verse universe into the live action universe due to what Doctor Strange did with the multiverse. It's always been my theory. I still stand by it. There was a preview that came out recently for Edge of the Spider-Verse where there was a shift blamed on, like a shift in their multiverse blamed on Doctor Strange. And so I still held on to that. Like, okay, shit, this might even be confirmation of what I was saying. But as Laura pointed out, people have seen the movie. Reviewers have seen the movie. There's a bunch of people that have seen the movie. I feel like at this point we would know if Miles did show up unless they held an alternate end credit sequence for tomorrow's release. But they've done before. Do I think they would do it with something like this? Probably not. They would probably want to like.
Or do you think they would even? Do you think they would even wait until part 2 to reveal that?
I mean, maybe. I don't know if my theory dies after this one or not, but my theory still stands, and I still think it's a strong theory.
Yeah.
Because they might tease the idea of it in this one, and then, maybe part 2, but...
Okay, and then Mojo, real quick, Mojo quit saying, Panini flat out removed my redemption from my ticket queue. I decided to buy only tops since then, and if I want any Panini cards, I'm only buying singles. That's the best way to do for Panini cards anyways, because they're so expensive. Also, they recently changed their policy on how they're handling redemptions. Like if you don't check every, I think it's like 120 days to extend out that you want to wait, they will auto change it for you. And like if you don't say like I want to wait, then they'll change your status and give you like points, or they'll mail you like a pack where you can pull like some sort of auto out of it or something like that.
Which is a really shitty policy.
Yeah, but they try to price match what you would have pulled. So like I know that if they don't fulfill a redemption that's valued over $100, then if you attend like nationals or something like that, you can get a white box. And then I think if it's over another amount, you can get a black box. Yeah, so that's how people get the black and white boxes from nationals.
Yeah, and those are worth it. I've seen those.
Yeah, because those are unfulfilled redemptions, and then like they instead of foil stamping them the number sequence that it's supposed to be, they just label it like white box 1 of 1, but it's not a true 1 of 1. So don't get that confused, or be careful with that. So yeah, because like a lot of people compare those like, hey, would you rather have the white box 1 of 1 or the actual sequential number out of 50 or something like that? Yeah. And then a lot of times the prices are pretty relatively close, maybe like $1,000 difference, depending on the player. Okay. Greg M is saying there's far less UF4s than New Mutants 98, and there are a ton of New Mutants 98s. I don't disagree with that statement. I mean, 90s was a completely different time period, and hopefully, like comic publishers have learned from those mistakes. As we have an online retailer just laughing at that statement.
Lewis just said, "Is it too late for live action? Will it pale in comparison to animated version?" I don't think so, but I think it could be too late if they wait much longer. I think if they wait longer than the next year or two, unless Marvel does a really damn good new Miles series, like it's got to be a really good one, then I think interest is going to start to wane. No. And I don't think that kills the value of his first appearance, right? Because it's ingrained now in popular culture, because of movies and because of the readership. But I don't think it kills the value of the first appearance. But I do think it kills the impact of his first appearance in the MCU. I think it then doesn't become an automatic $1 billion movie, and they want $1 billion movies. So I think if they wait longer than the next 2 years, then they really made a misstep.
I think as long as like Disney and Sony can play nice together, which we've seen that they can do a trilogy together. I think it'll really depend on that more than anything. Like instead of fighting over stupid small like disagreements within the contracts of like, oh, you only get 10% of merchandising or whatever, blah blah blah.
And let's be honest here, like the biggest misconception here is that it's any Sony and Disney disagreement is over television or movie. They don't give a shit about those dollars. It's the rights over action figures and backpacks and Halloween costumes and
because that's a way bigger industry than
it's massively. It is infinitely bigger than the movie.
Because I mean, like how many times have we heard that? Like in Star Wars, like in Star Wars, what is it?
Movies have grossed like $1 billion.
Movies,
IP has grossed well over like $150 billion. I mean,
the merchandising, like the toys, the action figures, like whatever, has made way more money than the actual movies themselves.
And that's all Sony and Disney care about, really. Movies are a way to keep IP current and stuff like that. I mean, it's great for what it is, and we all love. I think universally, Miles as a character is beloved.
Yeah.
I think people that don't like him because they think he might be a replacement for Spider-Man. I've never seen him that way. I've always seen him as an Spider-Man, which is cool.
And then, have you seen the previews for the Spider-Man 2 PS5 game?
I have not.
Dude, it is sick. Like, if you haven't seen it, we showed previews, I think last week or the Saturday before that. But anyways, Spider-Man 2, its opening sequence with black suit Spider-Man with the symbiote like taking over, and then it's just an amazing like sequence and everything. And you get to see they have a little bit of gameplay into it, and then you can see the symbiote like taking over like just like the gameplay in the first one or in the Miles game.
Wait,
so
here,
who did what?
Who's this coming in here? Who invited this guy?
McClay.
You guys, I can't hear very well, so I'll jump in if you guys are still on when I get to a part where I can hear.
Okay. Yes. So it sounds like McClay is on his way back home from the Bad Idea event, which I'm pretty excited to hear about.
I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, and then so I'll definitely keep the show going until he jumps on and gets ready, and so he can take back the driver's seat, and so we can get back on this on the train tracks instead of just being kind of shooting from the hips. But we've done pretty good, I think. What happened? Where's McClay? Aliens got him. I mean, that's all I can say. Aliens, right?
Well, I mean, he was getting probed by somebody. I don't know if it was the
yeah, being able to play as Venom is going to be I know you're Rhinoverse. You are a huge Venom fan, so that would definitely make sense. And I would definitely like to see the movie sequence of like what Peter Parker losing the symbiote and it transferring to Eddie Brock. So, because that's going to be like some sort of sequence into it, like into the video game. So, is the next new Bad Idea McClay?
It's going to be McClay's Bad Trip. It's going to be a three issue mini about Bryan McClay getting lost in the desert in Arizona on his way to a Bad Idea party.
I thought it was going to start out with toads and then like move into like the magical mushroom kingdom.
That's the natural progression of the book, but you can't give too much away in the first issue,
Oh, that's true. I just gave away the first story arc. My bad.
Can I say how much spiders and other bugs used to bother me until I moved to South Carolina, and then you get so fucking used to them so quick?
Welcome to the South. I don't. Welcome to the South where you're not in the middle of a desert.
Yeah.
Like, because isn't that like Utah? Isn't that like kind of deserty area?
Oh, very deserty. Very deserty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was making sure I had my geography kind of correct.
I've got more rain in one day here than I've seen us getting an entire summer when I lived in Utah.
See, you can't complain about rain to me. I mean, like, I don't live in Seattle or anything like that, but like, I've driven around in like in tropical storms, so like that doesn't bug me. Like, yeah, I was in the storm of the century in Colorado, and everyone was freaking out about how much it was raining, and I was like, I was like, this is heavy rain for you? And I was like, I was like, I'm just gonna drive a little bit slower, make sure I'm using my signals. I mean, I always use my signals anyways, but yeah. You guys. Oh, so Tony is asking if we have backed the Megalith Kickstarter for Bad Idea. I have not. I haven't backed the Kickstarter in a long time, but I need to start looking into that again.
I will be. I'm the big Bad Idea collector. I will be. I'm just still trying to decide because there's each tier you go up, there's more books added to it. So I'm trying to figure out dollar value added, right? Because ideally, as a speculator, and I'm unashamedly a speculator, the issues, the higher you up in tiers, obviously the more rare the issues, the extra issues that come with the book are going to be. If I think there's return value on those, I will buy the higher tiers with the intent to flip them. The problem is how much money am I willing to bury in a Kickstarter, not knowing when fulfillment date is, right? Because that's what you got to look at. Because it's an unknown street date. So do I drop $600 on a Kickstarter knowing I won't see return on investment for 3 months, and then I'm going to get them all graded, right? So 4 months, and that's when the hard decision becomes. I do want to read the book, so I would say I'm probably at least getting the hardcover. But
and then I'm going to answer this question for you because he's happy to see you up the down.
Mm-hmm. Because Chad came in the chat. That's why.
And then looks like Blue Green is addicted back to Kickstarter again.
Really good releases through Kickstarter lately.
Yeah, really I think I could have told you that like 3 months ago. So just joking.
On that, and this isn't something we're going to delve into too much, but part of our stuff that we're doing with Bird City and Hive is we do have some Kickstarter futures. We've got some stuff in the future coming up. Some projects that will only be exclusive to us. And that's about all I will say on it. But they will end up more than likely being launched first on Kickstarter, and then will be alternate versions will be launched on our website. So if you guys aren't on Kickstarter, get on Kickstarter, and we'll keep you guys abreast of anything that comes up over the next few months. But we do have some long-term plans involving Kickstarter.
So I do know a little bit about this. I don't remember names, or if I do, I'm not going to say because I don't want to get in trouble from Dinesh. But he did name drop a few names that people were contacting him right before we jumped on, that they were like basically confirming to be a part of whatever project. And I'm not going to say which project for sure.
There's some IP announcements coming from Dinesh soon. I've got with them. There's some new.
I mean, of course it's going to be hyped up, but I mean that, that's what he does. He markets. He's a good marketer. Like he knows.
Wait for ENIAC to.
To get announced. Yeah.
ENIAC was his baby, man. That's if anything gets announced, that would be my guess. Yeah. I haven't sold that one yet. That's the only Bad Idea book I have graded that I've held on to. I'm like that one's not going anywhere.
Well, but, I mean, like in 9/8 right now are like way below the price of what Raws were selling when it first dropped.
Oh yeah.
So, and I've said this a couple times on Bryan's show, and I'll say it again. I'll reiterate it. As an informed speculator, if you are a speculator and you're listening to this, you have to understand that there's multiple things that go into stuff. You can hear option news all day long, right? But if you know the book, if you've read it, and in your head you sit there and go, okay, how would they pull this off in a movie? And if they couldn't pull it off for less than a $200 or $300 million budget, if it's super super crazy sci-fi, they're going to have $50 to $100 million in CGI, countless fucking things like that, then the chances of it coming into production are a lot less. Whereas there's books like look at now, Paper Girls is a bad example, but it's a great example of a spec that could have been, right? How easy was it financially to pull off a book like Paper Girls? How financially easy was it to pull off a book? A lot of these indie books that we've seen that have actually gone into production and become things, right? What was the what's that amazing Netflix series?
What's up, Dennis? How are you?
Yeah, we start talking about Bad Idea and Dennis shows up. What was it? Jonathan, what was that? The one with the deer kid.
Sweet Tooth.
Right?
Did you watch season 2?
Oh yeah.
On that, looking at that property on paper, right? You could look at it and reasonably say that it would cost less than $1 million an episode to film, right? So as a spec, when that got announced as being option, that's an easy spec. Of course it'll be produced. Of course they'll at least try it because it's a cheap. You look at everything about it, location, the CGI required, everything like that. Cheap series or movie to produce. You look at stuff like stuff that's more heavier sci-fi stuff. That's a bigger reach. Even stuff that's animated, that's more expensive. But so I mean, look at if you were going to spec on Bad Idea books for IP, I would say look at the books like Rocks and Minerals. really hard to, it'll be really hard to produce. Anything involving dinosaurs and sci-fi, going to be really hard to produce. But stuff that's just people, right? Detective.
Well, I would say it depends on what cycle we're in, like in the overall view of like pop culture, right? Like for a while we were in that vampire cycle or something like that, or we still might be, and then then it becomes like supernatural monsters, whatever. Like Hollywood tends to go through those cycles, right? Every like 5 to 10 years, depending on what's becoming popular with like kids or whatever. So I mean, like at one point in time, it could probably be like spies or whatever. It just all depends on what's going on currently in modern events as well.
Well, look at Something Is Killing the Children. Your only CGI in that
it's the monster.
In that type of series is the monsters.
Right, and then the adults can't see it, so you don't even have to have the monster on screen. So it could just be like special effects of like, scratching on a locker or something like that.
But you can wait 3 episodes into it.
Oh, before you even reveal the monster?
It was worth investing into it. They could do a 6-issue mini and not have any CGI, heavy CGI until the last episode. And then do 3 months
or just be like Inhumans on the first season.
Into CGI.
Or just be like Inhumans on the first season, right? Spend all your money on her hair in that first episode and Lockjaw, and then just put out crap for the rest of the season.
Yeah. But I mean, look at like Department of Truth. Financial, right? With the way that book is written and the way that book is read, it's people.
Oh like, I would say it'd be more like kind of like an X-Files type vibe.
If you went with no-name actors, that's an extremely low budget make. So it's a cheap investment for people to pick up the IP. It's a cheap investment for them to try for a season, and if it works out and people love it, then great. And so when you guys if you're picking up indies or you're picking up indie books in particular for IP, and you're hoping it's going to get that IP, not just an option, right? Because everything gets optioned, but it's going
if it gets past the next phase of being optioned, where it's not just going to get shelved.
Like Port of Earth, okay? Port of Earth was in pre-production before COVID hit. Port of Earth had multiple people bidding on the IP, so people were serious about it. But they understood that like to do something like Port of Earth, you're going to spend either a lot of money on sets or a lot of money on CGI. It's going to be an expensive series if it comes out, or an expensive movie. Port of Earth is out.
So Tony makes a good point here that he wouldn't say invest, but grabbing 9/8 of something for $20 to $50, maybe that makes sense because of especially like what it costs at the bare minimum right now, $25 just to grade your book. That's not including shipping. That's not including people that you're pressing with. Whatever.
I wouldn't even say grab 9/8. What I would say is be an astute collector and buy near mint copies that are 9/8 candidates and hold them.
Yeah.
Because our current
What's up, Louis V?
Right? What up? Our current turnaround times aren't what they used to be. If a book got optioned today and you had a stack of 10 9/8 candidates of a book, you could get them back within the next 3 weeks. You're still in the hype bubble.
Yeah.
So if you want that quick return on investment, you can still hit that hype bubble. What I would say is be an astute collector to indie properties that are easily adapted to media, film or TV. That's what I would say. Or even animation. I mean, if they're easily adapted to animation. Now, I would say animation is more expensive and it's way more time consuming. But a lot of animation studios have started adopting AI towards helping ease the animation studios' time with like background effects and stuff. A lot of animation studios are using AI to create their backgrounds.
And then let me answer Louis V's question real quick. So I have hijacked Brian McClay's show for the Wednesday night review. No, I'm just joking. I'm just sitting in for him as the host while he was at the Bad Idea event in Arizona, and we've gone on so long now at this point that we're waiting for him to jump back on to take the steering wheel again. And then earlier we were supposed to have Richie on, doing a deep dive into all 300 Spider-Verse characters that were going to show up in the film, but I'm not sure exactly what happened for him. He probably had something that he had to take care of. So
Mouse Guard, yes, 100% Mouse Guard. I agree, Dennis. Mouse Guard has been waiting on for such a long time, and if they came out with it, it has such a feverish amount of people that would want to see it. I agree, Mouse Guard, 100%. But Philadelphia, yes. Philadelphia, by the way, I'm heavily invested in for that exact reason. Philadelphia is one of those books that could be done. I mean, that could be done as a Netflix series for you could probably do 10 episodes for less than $15 million. And for Netflix, that's pennies.
What's the Heroes trade going for right now?
None. Manny the Comic Collector, none have held their value. But you have to understand where the value lies in bad idea books. And that's the fact that Dinesh is not a comic salesman. He's an IP owner. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as his IP, does he want return on investment? Yes. If he wanted return on investment on his comics, they would have been massively distributed through Diamond. They weren't. They were held. They were created and held solely for IP play. Everything bad idea IP play. It's not about the comics. It's about.
What are you talking about? The most valuable ones right here.
Exactly. In the most valuable CGC protector case on the planet.
This isn't even a CGC case, which is the funniest part. This is my bootleg version. It's a PG.
It's always been an IP play. Yeah. Always has been and always will be an IP play.
Well, I mean, because I majored in art history, I always find like the gimmicks and all the different marketing stuff that that Dinesh does, like it's been done in art before, to some degree. Like, you know, like where he had we're at Baltimore, right? He had This Is Not Wyoming and This Is Not, I don't remember the name of the other book, like Yucatan or whatever. So I mean that's just playing on the idea of what Magritte's painting, this CS in Peep, which is This Is Not a Pipe, but it was a painting of a pipe.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Okay. But anyways, yeah, we can move on to a different subject and stuff like that if we want to, because I'm just kind of BSing around until Bryan jumps back on, so he can drink his coffee milk.
We could do questions again.
Oh yeah.
Dinesh, what a joke. No, Dinesh, bad idea, brilliant, but we won't see his brilliance for another 5 years.
Once in the future, we'll make it. Yeah, well, I mean, they're also ending that series pretty soon.
Yeah, and Once in the Future would be one. Again, you could start it off pretty low key. I don't think the CGI would have to be super. Like if you read Once in Future, say the first 10 issues, you don't have to go super CGI on it. You would have to a little bit.
Yeah, but
initiate. I mean, you could get through the first season without a heavy CGI presence, right?
Right. So I mean, look how many. But look how many series have done the whole Renaissance period too, without trying too hard. You know, I mean, without going. I mean, like, because you had like films in like the 80s and stuff like that where CGI was like barely just starting, right? And so, yeah.
You've got me. I'm still on the mic. I gotta mute for a minute. I gotta take care of something.
Oh, you gotta mute? Okay. Miss Marvel, Def, Early Buzz. I mean, that's the whole thing too in comics, right? That like a character will die and then eventually come back at some point in time. I think it's one of those things that like that character will be brought back somehow, in some way or another. So I don't think it's the last we've seen of Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel. Once in the Future still in the bin, sadly undervalued book. I agree. You can definitely find a lot of the incentive variants within back issues. James Quitfield.
The Once in Future book to grab is the issue 1/8 print. It is the book to grab, there's some really hard to find ratios in there.
Really? Yeah, like especially when you get into that middle part of the run, like what issue? I think it's like 10 through like 15 or something like that. Like those 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s, those are like impossible to find.
and I wasn't an avid enough reader to keep notes, but if you were to look through that series, like if you were to reread it today, there's probably some decent first appearances in middle to later issues that if they went into production and it lasted long enough, and there's ratios on a lot of those that would be worth grabbing. I would say any once in future ratio that you can grab that's a later issue, definitely worth grabbing. I would say that there's a 1 per store, a lot of 1 per stores. Those are worth grabbing. And I would say, and I know this because I had them all. I collected all of them. I sold a bunch when there was initial hype on once in future. I think I finally sold my 8th print. No, I might even still have my 8th print. It came in at 9.4, so it's a hard sell. But I would say the 8th print issue 1, there was a big drop off after like the issue 6.
Yeah,
or the 6.
Yeah, because I remember finding 7th print a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then I sold mine on Whatnot when all that initial hype was like going on.
ASM 26 is 1 in 25 selling for $8. You got to be kidding me! Holy shit! Really? IPs that have to get made: Space Vampires, Kid Stories, D&D, Lord of the Ring clones. Yeah, kind of.
Well,
heavy CGI shit. Like I was saying, heavy CGI shit's always gonna be hard.
I would say like the popularity of D&D came back. I mean, like I always felt like
I've got more integrity in one finger than the rest of the comic community has in their entire hand, and you know that. I guarantee you'll be in the chat admitting that. You fucking know I do. But I appreciate what he's doing, but he's not doing it for comics. And I'll be the first person to say that. Dinesh is not doing anything he's doing for comics. He's doing it for IP. It's all a fucking shell game, like you said. It's a shell game, for sure. It's a shell game. I agree. But at the end of the day, the comic collectors will prevail when the IPs come to fruition. The guys that have bought in early and have collected. I wouldn't go out and spend $100 on a 9.8 of a bad idea book. When a lot of these are going for $30 and $40 right now, though, fuck yeah, I'd buy them. I'd buy them in a heartbeat because he's playing the IP game. And as soon as those IPs hit, a lot of these books that are really hard to find, people are going to be scrambling for them. And if you got them, you're going to make some money. And then you fold those into great books like Wonder World Comics exclusives or Hive Comics exclusives or Bird City Comics exclusives. You know, you fold those books into stuff that's got better long-term investment. So, and I think he loves the industry. I will say that he loves the industry, but he's definitely playing his own game. He's not dead in Hollywood. No, he's not dead in Hollywood.
Well, I was gonna say D&D. Like, I know that there's a movie coming out soon or whatever, but I want to say the popularity of that started rising up again. Like whenever Stranger Things started, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely for sure.
Like, because I mean, like, I know several people nowadays that play D&D, and I feel like they wouldn't have played it unless it was like featured on that show.
Well, look at Warhammer, right? We're getting a Warhammer. We're getting Warhammer now.
We are?
Thanks to Henry Cavill. We're getting Warhammer.
Oh, that's badass.
He pushed hard for Warhammer, and he has nothing now because he got fucked over.
Well, I think they need something to compete against, like what the House of Dragons and all that shit, and I don't remember what the originals
cost a shit ton of money. But here's the thing: when you have Henry Cavill backing it and in it, or supposedly in it, and you've got a property that has lived in iconic cult. I mean, Warhammer's been a thing for fucking ever. There's enough people that they will at least recoup their investment, so it's worth a try. And I think Hollywood, a lot of people don't realize Hollywood is down for trying something if they think they can at least recoup investment.
Yeah.
A lot of investors are. There's a lot of shit. That's a conversation that Jonathan and I have, and I think a lot of retailers have all the time. What's our break-even point? How many books do we have to sell? Do we think we have the customer base to hit that point? It's a conversation that happens, but it happens in retail across the board. And retail, part of retail is when you're talking movies and TV. It's the same thing. They're selling a product.
Ooh, Warhammer won't get made.
Won't get made.
I mean, I hope it does. You know, just because I used to play that tabletop game. But then at the same time, like, I feel like if Warhammer gets made, then we have a chance for a Warhammer 40K movie as well on top of that.
So Mr. Botto says he stays away from indie IP. Go dig a hole in your backyard and throw your money at it. I would agree to a certain level, but like I said, there is smart indie IP. There is IP that is just so cheap and easy to make that if the story is good, I mean, if the writing is really good, I mean, it's one of those books that you're just reading it and you're like, wow, I'm really into this. And you go, this would be really cheap to make. Not heavy CGI. I would say detective shit. I would say stuff that is more, the story is more influenced based on people than it is outer space locations or heavy sci-fi shit. Then they're worth picking up some issue ones and just setting in your back issue bin and holding on to. Now, I would say any book that is super heavy sci-fi, yeah, the chances are, even if it gets optioned, chances are it's not getting made. Yeah. So smart ways to invest in indie for IP, and there's bad ways. You just have to look at the overall dollar amount to make something happen. I think one of those, right? Well, it would be really hard to make outside of an animated thing, right? Now, it got the right financial backing, so it's going to happen. But it's one of those things that was definitely a long shot. Beautiful story, well written, well drawn, right? Amazing creators behind it, creators that are very IP focused, that shopped around for years and years to make sure it got in the right hands, things like that. But like, in a million years, did I think Kanto would have gotten made? No. Did I invest heavily in Kanto? No. And when I did, I sold them because I didn't ever think Kanto would get made. Too much money would have to be involved for that to get made. But now it looks like it's going through. So there is those outliers. But I would say if you're going to invest in IP, or if you're going to invest in indie comics for IP, look at stuff like Something Is Killing the Children, where like you could go the first 3 or 4 episodes without actually having to go heavy CGI. Right? They can.
Oh yeah, where you can set up story, introduce characters, all that stuff. Yeah.
Or Department of Truth, which like really you don't have to. You could do that with basically no CGI and still make it a damn good show.
Right, where you would just need like sound effects and then like maybe like minimal CGI, where you're like doing like, or where it's just like has heavy effects on it, right? Where you're not really seeing anything.
Because look at it from an investor.
Ultra free easy. Thank you.
If you're going to look at this indie book, only had 15,000 people order issue 1, but we want to invest money into creating it into a TV series, right? Well, it's only worth it. I mean, if the fan base shows it's only worth it to spend X amount of dollars, it's only worth it to spend X amount of dollars. Now, if the story is strong, it's strong. Noctera?
What about Noctera? I would say, I think it depends if Witcher, the WYTCCHER, gets made first. If that gets, like, because that's been through option hell and has arisen again. So I think if that actually gets produced, I think Noctera has a good chance of being produced. So I mean, like it, with Scott Snyder stuff that gets announced as optioned all the time. Like I really think it just depends if it gets past that option phase, right? If it actually gets into production.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I think overall too, I like indie books more for the read than the investment side.
Yeah.
Like I look every week when I'm pulling books from my LCS, those are the titles I'm looking forward to read more than like trying to read a Marvel book, or I don't even know where I would start on DC. I mean, I remember reading a run like when I first got back into comics, because it was right as New 52 was ending and Rebirth was just starting, and then so I was picking up Deathstroke, and I was really enjoying the read. And then as it got into the second year, like when they started doing the DC Universe stuff, like I was just like kind of like it started falling off the rail. It started going off the rails for me, and I was losing interest. But yeah, and then I started reading a lot more indie books by that point in time.
Yeah, I think Noctera could be done.
Who remembers Animal Castle? I do remember Animal Castle, and it's called George Orwell's Animal Farm. Thank you very much. I mean, that's really what it's based off of, anyways. It's just like an updated version of that story. And then what the first production of that was in Europe, like France, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so like it was originally just like a graphic novel, and then whenever it got put into comic form, you know, a lot of like stores like jumped onto that bandwagon, and then like basically just like printed that book to death.
Was that?
But it's getting a second. It's getting a second. A follow up series, right?
Yeah, and there was another. There was another book that was like that. It was I remember Tulo Tate did a bunch of covers for it, but it was a French book that came out, and then they adapted it to comic.
Oh, I don't remember what. I kind of I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the title. And then Dakota North has a better chance of being made than Noctera. Maybe sad but true.
Noctera cost. I mean, they could do it low budget.
They could do like a Sweet Tooth kind of thing, attitude towards it. I can see that, like with minimal, like we said before, like minimal CGI, where it's just like background stuff, like you know, like a
not quite Noctera at that point. You know what I mean?
Bitter Root, yeah. I believe everyone knows that indies are what pay per view is looking for, or is looking at for material. Stores are favorable to them to produce. Yeah, that I mean that would make sense.
You mean Netflix and
yeah, I mean like Netflix and all those different like Amazon Prime. I mean, look at how Amazon Prime's been doing with Invincible, The Boys.
Yep.
They had something else coming up soon too. But anyways, I mean, like you know, that was like one of everyone's favorite streaming shows, The Boys.
Yeah.
But it has done jack shit for the books. Like maybe it might have jumped it up a little bit, but at the same time, like what you could probably go out and buy a Boys #1 CGC 9/8 right now for, I'm guessing, still around $300.
Yeah, and it didn't see much of a gain from announcement. Well, I would even say before announcement, The Boys was one of those books that people were just buying because they loved, they read it and they loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So issue 1s were snagged up by actual collectors, and we didn't see we saw a bit of a jump, but not a massive. Like it was like
I don't ever think it might have hit like $500 at one point in time, but it quickly went back down to like $300, $350.
It was a great series, and everybody loves it that watches it. You know.
Yeah. Well, and then like it has two different it has two different publishers that it prints. All right, Dennis, question for you two. What's up, Dennis? I'll wait for him as he types that out, but we'll figure that out. Just saying, F-level Marvel properties have a better chance of hitting the screen than most acclaimed indie titles. I don't disagree with that.
I do disagree.
Well, I mean, but look at MCU's I feel like the MCU has been trying to recreate the magic of what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like how many people were really like huge fans of Guardians. The only person I can think of off the top of my head is Ultra.
Yeah.
Like huge Star Lord fan, right? I mean, other than him, like I don't know a whole bunch of people that's like, oh, that's my favorite, cosmic Marvel title.
Yeah,
all right,
John. But I think Guardians was an anomaly, right? They found a way to tie in humor in such a way that it was campy enough to be an all ages film, but there were serious enough points to make it a film that appealed to adults. And
okay, name me one indie book that Up ever got made for, except for The Walking Dead or Invincible. I don't know what TLO is. I can't think of what that acronym is. That ever made Dick $1, and the book it's held its value for longer than a year. Power Rangers.
I think that's a question that requires a lot of research that I couldn't do straight off the top of my head. But I'm sure there's at least.
My answer would be Power Rangers.
I will say this though, to maybe strengthen Dennis's argument in the lack of my own, would be the fact that there's definitely exponentially more indie properties that.
Oh, The Last of Us is a good answer right now.
Yeah.
The Last of Us. Okay. Tilo. Okay. Gotcha. Got it.
There's gonna be an echo for a second.
Oh, I took your other thing off screen, so there won't be an echo.
I would think there's more of a chance of. I would say that there's infinitely more of a chance of any indie IP not being made than there is being made, and that in and of itself, you definitely have to play the option peak, right? So you play the option peak, and then you grab low if you really believe in the project. I mean, it's a simple solution. It works, and if it's a property you really believe in, then you buy back into it. So I did that with Department of Truth. I've played the peak a few times. I currently am down to. I don't have a lot of the. Same as Something Is Killing Children. I don't have a lot of the heavy hitters anymore, but I'm still vested in the book enough that when they are made, I'll still make more money. But yeah, I mean, Dennis isn't wrong, entirely wrong, but there's definitely examples out there that do exist.
No,
I'm trying to go from. Let me leave studio on my laptop. I'm going to rejoin on the computer.
So before it got yeah, I mean, that is true that it was always a popular video game, and then it jumped into a and it got super hot like after the first season finished, right? In the overall grand scheme of things too, how many times can you have named that after a show or a movie releases that the book keeps on going, increasing in price? Like whether it be Marvel, Indie, DC, whatever.
Yeah.
Like how often does that happen? Like
that's
why you listed out those specific examples of like The Walking Dead, The Last of Us being a good one. Invincible, like, because people were on the fence of that. I mean, because Why the Last Man was kind of doing the same kind of thing too, right? That like when the show first started, like until the release date of the show, it was really popping up to like what, maybe like a $1,500 book or whatever. But then when people saw that show was crap, it like just or got canceled, like not even finishing the entire season, then it just crashed, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, what is the top book to have for Department of Truth?
I would say they're probably right with Baby Eater.
I like the Baby Eater. I like the Something Is Killing Children homage 1 in 100 for issue 1.
Don't sleep on the 1 in 50. Because Baby Eater was 1 in 25. Don't sleep on the 1 in 50.
What was the 1 in 50?
It was it's her sitting in a crowd of people. They've all got X's over their eyes. Beautiful, beautiful cover by Martin Simmons. Beautiful cover. I would say don't sleep on that because it's still a first appearance of Starface Man. So if they do the series and Starface Man plays an integral part, which he would have to if they follow the comic, I would say that. I still think your high ratio 1 in 100 is issue 1. It's probably your best book. I would say second's probably that 1 in 25 Baby Eater. And I would say third's probably the 1 in 50 issue 2.
And if it does get made, many don't get the marketing push and gets ditched far too soon.
It does. A lot does get ditched far too soon. But
people's memories nowadays are so short, right? Like,
I will say this: if you want to see Netflix and HBO and these other streaming services or non-streaming services create more of the stuff you guys like that is comic stuff, fucking watch it. Like even if you're not, you get into 2 episodes and you're like, I'm not really digging it, just watch the whole damn thing, or just at least press start, because it don't cost you any more money to watch it. But what it does show them is that people have faith in comic properties. So I would say even if it's one of those things, even if it's erroneous, right? If you get issue 2 or episode 2 of a series, but it's a comic series, for the love of God, fall asleep one night and just let that shit run. Because then it'll show Netflix and HBO like, hey, listen, these guys like comic stuff. You know, and it might be wrong, it might be lying, but like they gotta see that we like it. And if they like it, they're gonna eventually they're gonna hit that series that you guys were like, man, I've been waiting on my whole life to see this. You know what I mean? Why was great until people watched the dog shit show? Do I haven't watched, seriously still haven't watched Why. And I loved the comic. But I heard so much disturbing stuff about it. Like it just, you know, and that's a shame. It's a shame when it's not. Listen, eventually they've got to figure out that if you can stick close to the source material, you at least have a viewership of people that enjoyed the source material.
Well, I mean,
far outside.
But DC figured that out a long time ago when they were doing the animated stuff, right? Where they were doing like panel to panel.
If The Walking Dead had stuck really close to the source material and had stayed stuck to it, people would have loved that show until the end of the end. Yeah. They got so fucking far away from the source material that half of the characters that we're watching on TV didn't even exist anymore in the comics or never existed in the comics. And you alienate the people that were actual fans of the property before it became the property it was. And that'll take you so far, right? If it's for good storytelling, yes, it'll help with overall viewership, but eventually you alienate the original people. And once you do that, it's a downward fucking thing, you know? It really is. And hopefully these guys will eventually figure that shit out. I don't think they have yet. I really don't. And I hold out hope that they will at some point, but DMZ was horrible. Another one I didn't bother watching. I love DMZ too much, and I heard too much bad shit about it.
I think I watched like the first
everything episode. Everything I said, I do not follow, but I also don't have a lot of time for a lot of that shit. But all streaming spec is going to crash. I don't know about all, but a lot of it probably will. Yeah.
The majority. I wouldn't disagree with that.
I think spec is dead. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I think spec is dead.
I think it's in a really, really rough spot right now.
I think it's in the I think the market's in a transition, right? Like I think that's the way that people should view it, as that like you can't approach the market the same as you would 5 years ago. That it's always evolving, and people are always going to be looking for different things to add to their collection. So but that just happens in a market anyways, right? And so I still think it's a semi-healthy market. Until you start hearing a bunch of people like dumping like all of their collections. Like,
and I don't know, Brian, were you listening? You listened the whole time?
No, I just got home.
So I had mentioned that because somebody had mentioned in the comments that like I don't remember what the original comment was at this point, but I had mentioned that like he mentioned that he doesn't invest in indie spec at all for IP purposes, and I said listen, I get that. I get people that are shy of that, but I will say that there's a smart way to do it. If you're reading a comic book that's an indie, and you can look at it from an outside perspective and be like, how much would it cost to make this? Now look at all the successful indie IP we've had over the last 5 years. They've all been stuff that is easily made low budget, right? So if you're reading a book, like a Port of Earth, right, which is supposedly in the production status or whatever, it's going to cost them. Port of Earth? Yeah, and it's going to cost them. It's a space alien.
But who's putting it out?
I think Sony got it. There was a bidding war over the IP 4 years ago. It was in production, and then COVID hit, and it halted all production. But they're supposedly have restarted production. But that series or movie is going to cost them tens of millions of dollars an episode to film. It's going to be an expensive project. But you look at other stuff, look at all the successful indie IP, and all of it either could be done low budget or it was started low budget. right? Like The Walking Dead at the end of it, like a couple seasons in, became really expensive to film. Actors charged more money. CGI was more money. Look at The Boys. Go watch season 1 again. That is a low budget make movie or TV series. It was easy to make with a reasonable budget. A lot of these successful indie IPs were ones that you could have looked at from an outside perspective and be like, oh yeah, that's easy. You can make that cheap. I could fucking make that. So if you're investing in indie IP, look at the stuff that is easy. Look at stuff that is character driven, not scenery driven or sci-fi driven. Look at stuff that is character driven IPs. If you can look at those, a lot of those will at least be given a chance. They'll at least be optioned. So if you're playing the short game, they'll at least be optioned. If you're playing the long game, a lot of those, they'll at least see a season 1 of production. So you'll hit a couple of rolls, but you got to be smart right now. If you're investing in indie IP, invest smart. Don't buy stuff that's going to cost them $100 million to make a fucking 10 issue or 10 episode series, because it's just not going to happen. People aren't investing that heavy in IP property or indie IPs. They're just not unless there's a $10 billion toy line backing it. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, well, and I think that's the reason I mentioned earlier, Kanto. I think the reason Kanto got moved forward for animated and all the stuff they're doing is because they see the potential in a toy line and a game line, and they see the potential in IP outside of movie or TV. And I think that's the reason, like stuff like Kanto, which is going to cost a ton of money to produce.
I think that
always costs a ton of money. I think
kind
the
of going
reason
along
those
the
have a
right
future is because they can sell little cute Kanto action figures and Funko Pops to everybody.
Where's Kanto going?
Huh?
Is Kanto going to massive publishing?
Yeah, it went to it was Will Smith and
no, but who's going to be publishing Kanto now?
Oh, they have not, as far as I know, they haven't released that information. They do have a publisher.
Is it going to be Whatnot?
Oh God, I fucking hope not.
I bet you it ends up being massive publishing.
I will say this: I was hoping it would be us, but we're probably six months behind the game.
All right, so here's what I will say about Sspec.
You're caught up. Dennis said, you're caught up. Yeah, pretty much caught up.
So I think that the Sspec play now is going to move back to speccing on good comics, right? And you know what's a book that I'm really excited for? This book.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to Void Rivals. I'm looking forward to Robert Kirkman getting back in there. I'm looking forward to like this being something interesting and new, and like we need something that's like,
like a palate cleanser.
Yes, something that's really good. You know, you remember when Outcast was coming out, like the first time Outcast was, not the show, but the comic. The comic was so good. You know, all that stuff. Like it has been really like, we don't talk about those like good story comics anymore. You know, and I feel like that is going to be the play, is that we start looking at. I apologize. Good comics and good storyline and that type of stuff. And I don't care if it's going to be a movie or a TV show, you know, that type of thing. Let's start speccing on good, on new stuff that's good. And then for old speculation, to me, it's going back to those keys, right? Historical books, old high-grade books, old high-grade major and minor keys, major and minor keys.
So we did a pickup section earlier in the show.
Oh,
you got to see what Red Hood brings to the table.
Yeah, watch your show back, Bryan. It is fucking insane.
Yeah, and there's two of those books that I really want.
There's a dozen of those books I really want.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm reaching out to him tomorrow. Believe me, I'm reaching out to his ass tomorrow.
Yeah. You're right, Dennis. The writer's strike, AI, dead IP.
He's wrong on that. Yeah, Will and Jada have so much pull in the Hollywood these days. It's not about pull, it's about money. It has literally nothing to do with pull. You don't have to have any pull in Hollywood to make a movie or a TV series or a successful one. You have to have money, and you have to know one right person. That's it. If you don't know one right person or have the money, I mean, they have both. It's yeah.
Brian, how was the event?
I could know one right person and have $20 million sit in my bank and make a successful TV pilot.
It was.
I mean, it really. It's. Do you believe in the project? Do you have the money to back it? Do you know one right person? That's all you fucking need. That is literally all you need.
Yeah. What is
Dennis? We can make a TV series, man. Let's make a TV series. I don't have the money. I don't know if you do either, but we could. You know, I'm sure between the two of us, we know one right person.
I echo.
We could probably scandal some people.
Oh, I don't think we're echoing anymore. I think E fixed it. It was my.
Yeah, I muted that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good now. It was there for a minute, but
yeah. So it was a lot of fun, dude. Shout out to Samurai Comics.
Yeah, let's piss off Dennis and talk about this bad idea thing.
They got pizza and beer, and there was champagne and beer, and a lot of the big bad idea fans from around the country flew in. A guy from Minnesota flew in, a couple guys from California came in, like a lot of just for this event. It was pretty cool.
I would have been there had I known about it. I don't pay attention to my emails. I would have been there with you, Brian.
Yeah, and that's the only people that found out about it were the ones that saw their emails, which is cool, right? So unless you were looking at your emails, you didn't know about this. So it was pretty cool. They had like a throne set up, and then they had the number one fan sitting in the throne, and he had like a scepter and a crown, and
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude. It was cool. I got to chill, and I didn't plan on hanging out long, but I bullshitted with Adam for a while. Dinesh bought me a Batman 492, and I think isn't this the counterfeit one? I can't remember. Did they do a 492 counterfeit as well? I know they did a platinum version. I can't remember if this is the platinum or the counterfeit, but Dinesh bought me a comic, which is cool. Shout out to Dinesh. And
it wasn't that gimmick comic either. It doesn't have a giant bad idea sticker on it. So
yeah, it was funny. He's like, let's go look around at these books on the wall, and you could tell he was like trying to find a book that I wanted. And if I would have been like an asshole, I'd have been like, yeah, I want that Golden Age, But no, I'm just joking. So yeah, it was nice. As I was walking out, Dinesh was like, let me buy that for you. So I did walk away with this 492, and I think it's the counterfeit version. I could be wrong though. It feels counterfeit. The paper feels weird, which is the reason I bought it. But
nice.
It was funny because I think I got a video of it. I'll put it up. One of the guys who came from Minnesota was joking, and he was drinking like a hard cider. They had hard cider there. And the guy's like, yeah, man, I brought a bunch of stuff for artists to sign, but he was hoping like David Lapham was going to be there, but he wasn't. He's like, I didn't. And then so Dinesh goes, well, here, have Adam sign your can. So they're just joking, and Adam signed the can, And then I'm like, well, need to sell that on Whatnot now. Sell that beer can, sign, put it on Whatnot now.
eBay 1 of 1.
Yeah. But yeah, man, there was a lot of people that were really stoked. Came and they spent a lot of time talking to comic fans and bad idea fans. And I'll be honest, that's one of the cool things that they weren't expecting to make this a big thing. They didn't come out for the con or anything. I don't think they're really going to the con. I think they're flying out maybe Saturday. So it's really cool. And they well, you say that waiting for Bad Idea to produce whiskey. That's one of the things we definitely talked about is whiskey. So, but yeah, they decided they were going to go out tonight for dinner. They're hitting up this place called Blanco, which is a really, really good place to eat, and they invited me
to go. I even know about Blanco, and I don't live there.
I should have went with them, but I had something I had to do, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go. And then I'm like, fuck, I totally forgot I got to take care of something at home. So, plus I don't like to drink and drive, so I didn't want to go and You know what I mean? So I told him I'll hang out with. I was gonna go hang out with him tomorrow. So I'll end up seeing him tomorrow and hanging out.
Tell Adam to fucking lay off on the emails. I got his fucking dude sent me a dozen emails in the last 24 hours. Like I tell him I got him. Tell him to fucking he'll get his email back from me in the morning. He needs to fucking.
You know what I like about Adam? I like Adam because Adam is like he's like that retail side. You know what I mean? Like where Dinesh
I liked Adam
like
way before he was with Bad Idea. I've always respected that man.
I told him, I go, why don't you come on the show? He goes, oh, I'm not going to come on the show. I'm not that interesting. You know, I'm more into the,
okay.
And I go, bro, just come on the show. Come hang out. I go, what do you collect? Is there anything out there that you collect that you can come and talk about? And he's like, I'm really into, you know, old school, like, you know, trades or like store trade, like, you know, the original, you know, comic magazines that showed what was coming out and a lot of the stuff from, you know, being in the store, you know, old school, promos and
that's really
stuff
cool.
like that. And I'm like, dude, we love talking about that shit, bro. You should come hang out and just bullshit. So, yeah, man. I like I said, I'm really working hard on the industry show stuff. And I told Adam, I said, I would really love to have you come on that show and, you know, talk. It'll be nice once we get that show going to have a group of people who are industry people that can come and, you know, do a roundtable talk and actually know what they're talking about, you know? Yeah. So
Brian, I have 2 hard questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about the Immaculate 1-of-1 Logo Men card that someone had been waiting for 4 years on redemption?
The Tatum, Jason Tatum, yeah.
And then it showed up on eBay. And then it ended up selling for like what, 25,000 or whatever.
Yeah, Richie told that to Panini when he last talked to Panini. Was Richie on tonight? Did Richie jump on?
He jumped on for less than a minute.
Oh yeah,
then, that's a bummer.
Yeah, so we've been waiting for him to like deep dive into the 300 Spider-Man characters that are going to show up in Spider-Verse. So everyone's expecting that presentation. So no, I'm just joking. I don't know what he was going to cover. But anyways, and the second card thing. Did you hear about Panini? That they got their headquarters got broken into.
Yeah, that was going to be my drama alert for tonight, but we'll talk about it on
we
Saturday.
Talked about it a little bit earlier.
Good.
We did talk about it a little bit, yeah. We I don't know. I'm trying to stay silent to what's going on in the chat right now. I'm doing my best.
I'll let Dennis do Dennis be Dennis.
I'm just gonna ignore. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually shutting. I'm not gonna look at the comments.
Just don't even look. Don't even look. Don't even look.
I love you, Dennis, man. As a retailer, I respect you to the ends of the earth, man. But sometimes you just talk out your asshole.
I like looking at the chat every so often because like sometimes like people have a lot of questions or repeated questions.
I like it, man, but like, man, sometimes some people
sometimes it does get distracting.
They don't know everything about because they're so set minded on one thing.
This is the biggest thing to me. The biggest thing to me is everybody saying like, "Oh, they're a failure. They went bankrupt." That was a whole fucking shtick. I don't understand why you guys think that's like real. That was a promotional thing. That's always
he's playing a long game, and if you don't see it, then that's on you, and I'm sorry that you don't see it, and that sucks. But like those of us intelligent enough that have been in the industry long enough, we see it for what it is. And Dennis is not wrong. I will not say Dennis is wrong. We see it for what it is, and Dennis calls it out as he sees it, which is it's accurate. Most of the time, it's pretty damn accurate. But there's a long play
somewhere along the line. Dennis feels like he's been wronged somehow,
and if that's how he feels, I will not discount the way he feels. I will never discount
retailers.
And I respect Dennis enough to say, Dennis, I respect the way you feel. I feel differently, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna close down the chat because I don't want to feel certain sort of way. But
yeah,
I love you, Dennis, man. You're fucking. I admire you as a retailer.
We did have a
wholehearted. However, motherfucker, you opened a record store and I said, hey, let me know what is coming out for record store day, and you never sent me an email list, so I missed out on some really good shit that I would have bought from you. But
didn't local
I should have reminded you. That's on me. I should have reminded you. I should have been like, hey man, isn't that coming up soon?
That just passed up like what? Wasn't that April 23rd or something like that?
Yeah, and there was a couple of good records I wanted to I wanted to put on hold. I don't have a record shop out here.
But we had a first thing that happened on the show this week or today. We started 2 minutes like past the start time. It was only 2 minutes. We were only 2 minutes late to start.
Dennis, I'm sure, no offense to you, Dennis, but I'm sure people can say the same certain things about you, that you've had failed businesses or failed things, or you've done things that, you know, have pissed them off. I remember you getting really mad at Trey for Trey saying some of those things. It's like, you know, there's something to be said about getting along with people, and you know, it some people just don't get along, and I get it, but the same could be said about you from other people's, and I don't respect when other people talk shit about you. You know what I mean? So, I'm just not there. That's not my gig. It never will be my gig unless I feel wronged by you. And I get it. You can feel a certain way. You can feel a certain way when you get wronged.
All right, I'm gonna say what
real quick. What's up,
Psychotron? No, Aaron. I'm gonna say what I have to say. Listen, you know I respect you. You know I love you, Dennis. I really do. I think the conversation I had with you at MegaCon, not this last year, but the year before, I value those to the ends of the earth. You shed so much light on the industry and the future I could be looking forward to in the industry. But when you start saying accepting bribes, so much integrity in comics, to me, that was an attack on Bryan for accepting that book from Dinesh. And that's an attack on anybody who's ever accepted anything from Dinesh. The only thing I've ever asked Dinesh for is his friendship. And then from that friendship, over the 5 years I've known the man, or 5 or 6 years I've known the man, I've gained invaluable insight into the comic industry. I've gained invaluable insight to what it is to maintain a publishing company, and what it is to be an integral part in the industry. And so when you say accepting bribes, I would say everything I gained from the man very well could have been construed in that as well. And I feel like you're attacking my integrity, and you're attacking Bryan's integrity for going to an event like that. And that hurts, because I feel like we're at a place where you know what I stand for, and you know what Bryan stands for. So when you say things like that, I feel like there's a misunderstanding here, where I respect you on a certain level, and maybe you just respect me on a level that's down here. And to me, in my normal life, I would just say, fuck you, Dennis, go straight to hell. I respect you too much to say that.
Exactly.
But I will say this: watch what you say and how it could be construed. Because what you say says a lot about you, way more than it says about where you're directing those comments towards. Because
and
what
the internet is
a very broad statement. There's a lot of people that could feel very attacked by what you say. And I would say that you have been in this industry far long enough to understand the difference. I'm new to this industry, and I know that what you said crossed a line that maybe you probably shouldn't cross. And it's not a threat. It's not anything beyond that. But I will say that I think a lot less of you now than I did 5 minutes ago. And I'm going to lay it lie at that point. But I'm done with that shit. And if I see another one of Dez's comments pop up on the board, I'm leaving for the night. I'm done with it. I want to have a good time hanging out with Bryan. I want to hear about this time he had. I want to talk to Yi. I want to talk sports cards, and I want to talk other shit. But the comic drama shit is over. We can save all this for Saturday or next Wednesday.
Amen. Saturday night. Comic drama alert's coming.
I'm just done with this. I'm done with it. I'm done with Dennis's comments. I'm shutting off the comments now. I'm not going to look anymore. I want to hang out with my homies, and I want to talk. I came here to hang out with my best friends and talk comics. Well, so I'm going to sit here and talk comics, but I said my piece, and I've said my piece, and I'm done.
Before we call it a night and move on over to the backstage or the after show hangout, I do want to say thank you to these guys right here for helping out tonight. I appreciate it. It's nice to have friends that will be up that can jump on and help out and do this stuff. It really saves me a lot, and I appreciate it. Second, I want to say thanks to everybody that's watching. I hope that you guys appreciate the fact that we bring you guys multiple shows every week, and the consistency is the key. And that being said, make sure you guys go check out all of our retailer friends. You can find all their links below in the description, the video description. Find Hive, you can find Bird City, you can find Jesse James. Make sure you guys go check them out. Give them a follow. Check out their stuff. I saw that when I tried to jump on the before I left on the way home. And Dennis says, "Invite me on so we can debate." Not tonight. We'll get to it one of the nights. I got you.
And he did what he said he was going to happen. If Dennis comment came up, he was going to chat.
Yeah, but that being said, I will say this. Tomorrow night, we're going to do Bogcast a little early. I'm going to head over to Keith's, and we're probably going to do a lot in-room Bogcast, so hopefully that'll work out.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And then Saturday night, we'll definitely talk all the Miles stuff. I got some interesting Drama Alert stuff that I'm working on behind the scenes. There are some very interesting... I'm not scolding you from a perch. Nobody.
I think he's referring to, I think he's referring to James instead of like being able to like to talk to each other like on camera.
Yeah, but you can't call somebody a coward like that, Dennis. Like, why would I bring you on if you're gonna constantly,
berate the person,
insult people?
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. Even if we tell you we respect you. I tell you all the time that I respect the shit out of you. But James is right. Sometimes the respect doesn't feel both ways. So, but
and then I also don't want to sit on here for another hour.
Exactly.
I have work in the morning, and I'm assuming that's the minimum amount of time.
Exactly. So I will say this. Phoenix Fan Fusion is this weekend. If you guys, I'll be posted up at one of the bars around downtown, I imagine. So if you guys see me, say hello. Bird City Comics is going to be in Phoenix. So make sure you guys, if you guys are at the Fan Fusion, to stop by, say hello to them. Dallas is coming up. When is Dallas, June
9th to the 11th.
Yeah, yep. So Dallas, make sure you guys stop by and say hello to Yee. Did James say he was going?
I think he's still working out all the details for that,
okay.
But I think he's going to try to make it. I know 9th is going to show up for a day. I think there was a couple other people within the community that said oh yeah, I'll be attending.
So perfect. So if you guys are in Dallas, make sure you say hello to Yee, 9th, and James and Hive if they're going to be there. That being said, San Diego, I've got my tickets. I've got everything. The only thing I need, and I think Yee's the same way, is a place to stay. So if anybody's putting together any Airbnbs and they're still putting that together, let us know because we want in. And that is at the end of July. So that's why. Hey, Mr. Roboto, that is exactly why we got him here. So they can put on a good show, not because they're friends, just because they put on a good show.
So we joked around because it was Laura and I starting out the show. And I was like, it's the Nearing Nirvana takeover for Beyond Wednesdays.
Was Laura on?
Laura was on at the beginning of the show.
Oh wow! Good.
Yeah, she was on for like a good hour and a half, something like that.
Oh, that's amazing! Hell yeah! So shout out to Bird City Comics, shout out to Hive Comics, shout out to everybody that we know and love. And you know what? Even shout out to Wonder World Comics. Make sure you guys go check out. Was Ultra on too?
He was not.
Why? You should have jump on, brother.
Yeah.
But that being said, even go check out our boy Wonder World Comics. If you guys are in Detroit and at the Mall of Monroe, where you guys can go find his new store. And that being said, we will see you guys in the after show hangout. And if we're not in there, we'll see you guys later this week. Adios.